Okay, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. I am your host, Horace Widdison, and, I shouldn't be awake right now, but because I am, fuck it, let's throw nukes at people. Or, well, get to the position where we can throw nukes at people and then see how that goes. Hang on here. Where is the kick? There it is. Okay, fantastic. Morning, egg roll. Good to see that there are some people up here, but I'm hoping that some of those people actually got fucking sleep like normal people. Because apparently, well, not apparently, I'm not fucking normal. I'm not fucking normal. That's why you watch my stream. But hello, ladies and gentlemen. We're playing War Thunder because well, it says Nuclear Thunder, but really it's Nuclear Option for Retards, the game mode. We have an event, and the event, they're giving you the B-52H and the bear. They're giving you the buff and the bear, and, well, you know what that means. They're not fucking developing bombers, and they're not ever getting rolls. But, so, yeah, this is the only way to get these now, and it will probably be the only way to get them ever. However, I am not going to be here. I'm taking a trip next week, so I'm not going to be able to finish the event to its entirety. I will just have to, I guess, buy them later. But we will try and get the handful, I think I can get 3 of the 6 needed to get each plane. And we shall see. Well, let's get into it before I, fucking collapse out of nowhere, since this is a bad idea. But you know what? I've got coffee and nicotine. I can do it. Right, so, if you don't know, this event is actually Enduring Confrontation with realistic battles. With markers, though, which I don't necessarily agree with, but I understand the necessity of it sometimes. In some cases, it would be a little bit too hard to find fucking people, but we can have 13.0 planes. We have radar that works, and Destroyer, hello there. Good morning to you, too. So, what we're going to do is, we're gonna putz around in the F-15A, kill a bunch of people because they're all flying floggers and they hate us, and then we're gonna switch to throwing nukes at things in the Phantom. And actually, maybe not this round because it's almost over. But there's the buff. It's there. It's completely fucking useless, but it's there. It's a terrible idea, but having it is better than not having it for the sake of a completeness. Because this is kind of something I always wanted, but also not at all what I wanted because I thought War Thunder was going to be a better game by now. My fucking mistake. I guess I'm not alone in that mistake, though.
Attention to the designated grid zone.
Right, so, I guess we're just gonna putz around, right? Actually, no! The game is fucking over! Never mind! G! Stream's over. Alright, I'm going to bed. Great game! See if we can get another one that isn't going to instantly end, and you can see by these numbers here, which team is the better one to be playing on, because, yeah, for some reason, I think it's because of the lack of Fox 3s, but I think the Su-27 also doesn't have Fox 3s, and neither does the Su-33, and that's why the Su-33 is fucking painful. But yeah, so the Russians are limited to floggers and fencers. They do have a Fulcrum, though, which is totally competent, and if you can't make that work against FA-18s and F-14s and F-15As, that is a pretty bad skill issue on your part. Get good. Let's go kill people. Does the buff have tail gunners or ECM? It has tail gunners, and in this mode at least, has ECM, apparently. I don't know how it works, I've never actually flown it in the mode. But the buff we're getting doesn't get ECM. Because fuck you, I guess. You get 1,000 chaff, though. I don't know what the fuck that's gonna do for you, you're still gonna instantly goddamn die, but 1,000 chaff. 1,000 years of chaff and bullshit, otherwise known as War Thunder! Right, so, the RWR is gonna be blaring like nobody's business because we're being lit up by S-300s and books and literally everything. But the thing is, most of them can't really hit us. The OSAs are more dangerous, but they're short range. We can watch those. And if we're moving fast enough, it's kind of like, you know, Welcome to Morrowind fucking GIF image. It gets really fucking crazy down there. Okay, so we're not even gonna attempt BVR because I have sparrows. We're not doing BVR. What we're gonna do is we're gonna get in there with sparrows, and we're gonna ACM people, and we're gonna just shoot the shit at them. Okay, that's ground A. Okay, so that guy's getting lit up by God knows how much. That guy is probably... Actually, you know what? I'm not gonna fire at that guy, because he has, like, 3 Phoenixes firing at him. He is... Nope, he's dead. See? I saved a missile. Fencer. Box 1. And he's also gonna get fucking slant. Actually, no, wait. I missed. And an OSA got me! That's the first snap, but we all kind of just flew directly into the center of the map and shot each other. That's kind of what's gonna happen. See, the chaos of the kill ball is... It's chaos. I could have just fired AIM-9Ms at people all day long, though. I probably should have done that, just kept moving. I wanted to get a kill, though. But I suppose I probably should have been more retarded then. More crazy and retarded. I am not normal. I might as well just own it and, you know, be exceptionally fucking insane, right? Right, you might as well go for gold, right? That's kind of how I view video games, right? You're either really realistic and, like doing something that's real, or you're arcadey and cartoonish, but you're also entertaining and over the top when you do that, right? So maybe that's how I should be, right? I'm not playing DCS ever again. Well, not for the foreseeable future until the F100 comes out anyway. So we might as well be crazy, cartoony, and stupid. I am a VTuber after all. I'm literally a fucking cartoon. See you later, egg roll. Alright, so let's try and actually do something. But yeah, you're gonna see a lot of noise in every direction. Just ignore it. It's fine. We do get anti-radiation missiles in this mode, but the problem is that the AA will intercept it even like feels its presence remotely. Okay. I is in range. Box 1. Looks good if it holds. Don't get clapped by something. Actually, he's already going into the ground. Yeah, he's already dead. I thought the marker just disappeared, but no, he's just dead. Okay, that's within 3 clicks. That should be good. Come on. There we go. All right, now we're spamming fucking... That's a flare, but... Come on. Yay! Okay, yeah, there's the Welcome to Morrowind gif back there. Woo! Okay! Time to go! I actually got one of those. Okay, good. The second AIM-9M actually hit something. I heard that. That was really fucking close. All right, time to leave. I am too fucking close to the front line. Ow. Wasn't looking in that direction. That's fine, though. We've actually got enough kills to actually switch over to bombs, but we actually haven't got there yet. Right, hang on here. So, that's the large size bomb. Can we launch that yet? No, we're... Wow, fuck you. All right, we gotta go out there again. Okay, so I'm gonna take a step back here because we keep just launching directly into the fucking meat grinder. I hadn't comprehended just how fucking close we were to the front line, and we don't want to actually be over the enemy's line, because, well, you saw what it's like in there. Hello, Dancing Cool, good morning. So let's put the radar on here and see what we're looking at here. Is anybody spread out? Doesn't look like it. That's a little far away. Let me step out the radar. Because the front line's at 47. The 37-kilometer radar is not going to fucking see anything out there. It looks like they're all still in the kill ball, but is there anybody out there? Nope. No women with their legs spread open. Damn. Because people, you know, have a tendency to actually spread out once the first initial kill balls are done, but not there yet. Is it time to unleash nuclear hellfire after I get one whole fucking spawn point? Let me get in the Phantom and then we can huck a bomb at something. If, you know, that isn't zapped by another player trying to use bombs for the same purpose. It kind of happens. Then we just do nuclear toss bombing, which is actually kind of funny that I can't use the F-100 in this mode. Not that it would survive, but that's what the F-100D is supposed to do. Nuclear toss bomb. In fact, the autopilot can do that for you, but like hell, War Thunder is going to give us something like that. Alright, so actually there's a fencer over there. He's broken away from the pack. Alright. Alright, there's an intruder. Right, okay. Actually, no, he's immediately fucking dead. By a Fakor, wow. Hey, you don't exist anymore, Iranian Tomcat. You're dead. As the Corsair, right. A6 is the intruder, and we do have those. Not that they're really any fucking good, because they're kind of powered by hair dryers, though you do get 4 anti-radiation missiles, but the OSAs will eat them the moment they see them. So you can lock onto something, but you need to fire all of them at one target for it to have any hope of them actually hitting anything. Okay, so that's the enemy front line. We are over the center of the map here, and this is where we want to stay, because I'm an eagle. What the fuck am I doing C? That F-14 is actually getting kills with Phoenixes. Good on him. That's actually kind of hard here. This environment isn't terribly good for Phoenixes, because everybody's flying all over the fucking place and hugging the ground. Then again, that's probably for cores, but yeah, that's the Iranian Tomcat over there then. I can't see it from here. He almost looks American, but no, he's not an American. And he's dead. Alright, and is that F-15 gonna get that kill? He did. Okay, so now we're flying around again. Flying around again and trying not to get lit up by the AA. As you can see, it's gonna keep blaring, and blaring, and blaring, and blaring, and blaring. That's, you know, that's the RWR telling you, hey, stupid, you're about to die, but War Thunder's RWR is so fucking stupid that you can't make sense of it. Another amazing shortcoming of War Thunder. Okay, so that Flogger and that Su-25 look like they're going to be closing in. They're going to go after those Phantoms, but we might be able to get in there and actually get a shot off on them. Actually, no, that guy's dead, but we might be able to hit, like, that guy. That guy looks good. He's up there. That shouldn't get fouled up by anything. I gotta watch that other Flogger over there. And he gets hit by a fucking missile. That guy gets hit by a missile. Boy, howdy, it's just a mess up here. Fox 1, and he immediately gets slammed by a fucking missile. God damn it. Kill successfully stolen. I only needed 1 point to get my fucking nuke Phantom. Oh, hello. Yeah, that's bad. We don't want those shot at us. That's suboptimal. That one's coming straight the fuck at us. Go away. Remember, the easiest way to avoid missiles in real-life situations is to just turn around and fly away from them if you're far enough away. Anything going, you know, hauling ass in the opposite direction of a missile probably is not going to get hit by that missile. Comatics. Ooh. glad that you can catch a stream too, Dancing Cool. Alright, freestyle. I think I can get that. Maybe. He's dumping chaff and flares all over the fucking place here, and he's immediately dead. Okay. I see how this is gonna go. Step off the G, and let the blood rush back to my fucking brain for a split second, and we're okay! This is a fucking mess. Okay, right, that guy is probably... Hey, no, not him. That guy is... Nope, that guy's dead. Okay, what about that guy? Is he gonna survive more than like 3 seconds? Can I get a missile off? That missile is off. It's tracking. It's good. Okay, splash. And we're literally right in front of the entire enemy team now. Yeah, this is what happens when I have to go in for these kills. Fly away. Oh, goodness gracious, fly away.
Attention to the map!
Jesus fucking... Welcome to Morrowind! Okay, I think, yeah, okay, we're outrunning that flogger. Just in case he gets any funny... Yep. I trashed that lock, but, here we go.
Attention to the map!
Okay, now we're in it with fucking floggers. Okay, well, we got AIM-9M, so... Actually, never mind! That guy's fucking dead. Where's the other one? I hear missiles rushing past me, and I'm incredibly fucking alarmed. Okay. And that guy is not gonna get hit by that. There's a Mike Winder. That maybe will hit him? Maybe? That looked like it was tracking? No, he's out of the game. Okay. Also, we're out of fuel now, but it's okay because, we got what we needed. Oh, there's the first nuke. They get bigger. Be able to turn in here. I'm gonna run out of fuel. You know what? Let's try and get another kill here. That actually looks good if I can actually hold block. Hey, no. Wasn't looking from wherever the hell that came from. Really fucking sketchy out there, but alright, so we're gonna go down here, since it looks like most of the enemies are up here. So we're gonna go down here, and we're gonna get ourselves a nuclear missile bomb. Yes, that is the technical term. Now we're throwing nukes at people. Okay, so there it is. B-61 tactical nuclear device. And we're just gonna go in there and just kinda put it near those OSAs down there I saw for a split second. That is over there. We're gonna nuclear toss bomb, so we're just gonna go real fucking fast and then not get anywhere near the AA. Pitch the nose up, hurl the bomb at them like a big stupid rock, and then fly in the other direction. Since, yeah, we're gonna need to make some numbers happen here. I was expecting to have way more, but yeah, unfortunately the enemy is in a gigantic fucking kill ball. We can't really get near without putting ourselves in immense goddamn danger. It was so much better at like 3 a.m. where everyone was retarded. It's usually how War Thunder goes. Okay, that F4E is cruising towards those objectives, and I don't really like that. I'm gonna go, they're over here. See if we can get them spotted again. Yep, over there. Right in there. Right in there. Why am I trying to be precise? I'm throwing a nuclear bomb at them. It's a nuke. What am I going to do, miss? So, gonna do is we're going to get closer to the target. I'm not exactly sure how far I can huck something, so we're gonna get fairly close. I hope they're over there. I hope they're still over there. I don't see them. This is concerning. I haven't seen that. That's concerning. Okay, you know what? Okay, those are on roads. Fuck. Alright, you know what? We're gonna go for these. Which is fairly close. Yeah, that should be in range. Okay, so now what we're gonna do is we're gonna hold 3. And then I'm just gonna... Nope, not close enough. Okay, what if we do it manually? Just kind of... Get off the plane! Get off the plane! That's not toss bombing. Okay, that's kind of a toss. It's a really limp-wristed ass toss. Go, my son. Nuke them. That guy's going straight in. God bless him. Okay, that should actually hit a fair number of targets and reward us with a fair number of points. Okay, good. That is an installation, so good. That's actually going to hit quite a few things. Where is the kaboom? There it is! Hey, look, I got a nuke in War Thunder, and I didn't have to play tanks and suffer horribly for it. What the fuck was that?
Destroyed the enemy's base. Now victory will surely be easy.
Okay, how many points did that get? I got 1,000 points for that. We just... Congratulations! We got just enough points to, recoup our losses if we happen to die like morons doing this. Wow! I can get myself a whole other, same fucking plane. We need to make some tracks here if we're gonna get a buff. Fairly decent mech story, and then it turned veered super hard into Zania bullshit. I have no idea what the hell that is. Okay, so there, we're just gonna guess that our next targets are there. I'm sure Strategic Air Command will figure it out. Let's make this a bit of a softer landing than what we had last night while we were playing Arma. Just a little bit of a more controlled stop on the runway. Not, you know, slamming directly into it and being unable to escape the burning inferno. But not dying. Nope! Nope, I fucked it up. Nope. Only a little, I didn't violently explode. It's fine. It's totally fine. Everything's fine. Get me a new plane. We need to throw more nukes at them. Stop asking questions. Stop pointing fingers and asking questions. We're throwing nukes at people. Nothing matters. Don't worry about what we did in front of the people at this airbase. They'll probably be dead within the hour. So none of this matters. None matters. It's the worst sort of power fantasy done through Chinese cultural lens. Oh. Okay, well, that Phantom disintegrated in his own nuclear hellfire, but he got the bastard. That's a MiG-29 coming towards us. I think I could actually splash at MiG-29 this. I don't think that won't be too bad. I think the base that I just spawned, or just bombed, respawned. Mighty fast at the Russians. We're gonna try and be a little bit less absolutely fucking retarded this time, though. And actually maybe properly toss bomb. But I'm gonna hope that the Hawks, yeah, the Hawks actually do their fucking job down there. I see that radar contact high, though. I don't like that. I see that man. I don't like that. He's at 18 clicks. I'm going to have to fight him. But he's actually in a pretty good position to get slapped by a dogfight sparrow, so hold on here. 16. He is not flying directly at me. It's a 24. Okay, he's so he's about 10, 15-ish. Okay, he's tracking the other direction. Good, he's fucking off. Okay, so this should be good here. We're gonna hold down, and that's another bomb down there. We're gonna hold it. There goes the nuclear missile bomb. We are fucking leaving the area now. Good day. I have accomplished my objective. And the nukes, boy howdy, the nukes be flying. 15 years ago, there was a war, the Balkan War. Jesus H fucking Christ almighty. Okay, I might actually get a kill with the nuke if that guy stays over there, but, nah, the fucking fencer is shooting at me. He's only got R60s, though? That's pretty optimistic. 11 targets destroyed. Three nukes. Not 7, though. We're still counting. Kirby moment. Oh, well, that shockwave would have blown my wings off. That's realism in War Thunder, I know, but that shockwave would have fucking ripped my wings off. Cool, though. Okay, so how many spawn points did that get us? 834. This is not fast enough. I'll get that buff, though. I mean, I gotta hand it to them. The nuke effects do look good. This is just nuclear option for retards, though. This is silly and a mess, but it's fun if you're just fucking around, really. I did get an air kill there, though, and I nuked several hundred people. All in a day's work.
Attention to the map.
Chinese fiction, heroes and villains being indiscernible from each other because the Chinese are morally bankrupt? No. That do be a screenshot, though. That is a moment there. Massive amounts of implied and shown SA of female characters. SA, I'm kind of afraid to ask. But then again, I'm me, so, you know, I'm just curious. I'm not really afraid. sure. I just didn't know what the acronym meant. That's not going to shock me. I've seen a fair number of thin books in my time, Sonny Boy. I've seen thin books older than some people that post on social media. And that's just from the protagonist. Wow. I wish I could be Rance. That sounds incredibly suspect, but you know, that Rance is written by a woman, so you know what, that would actually be being appealing to the writer's fetish. It takes two to tango, remember? That would be fulfilling a woman's, like, power, relationship, sexual fantasy. That's just good romance right there. Mm-hmm. Everybody's fetishes matches. Okay, so we're up with another missile. We're gonna take that. Though, by the time I get up here, the base that I just bombed is probably respawned already. As you can see here, we're flying high, relatively close to the enemy's front line, and they're rather heavy AA net, and we're just kind of okay, which is kind of really funny. It's almost like, you know, the S-300s in the books are kind of just like noisemakers. That guy missed with a, you know, he did. Yep, there's still shit down there. Congratulations, son, you missed with a fucking nuke. I will clean up the job for you. There it is, okay. That's not really tossing, that's just kind of just letting it go, I guess. Letting it go at a slight upward angle? That's not really a toss, but I'm not exactly sure how to do that properly with War Thunder. I think someone, I think one of the books actually fired at me, and it missed. I'm not gonna get intercepted.
Our base is under attack. We must repel the attackers.
Where's the bang, Mansley? There it is, okay. How many points do we have now? 9. Jesus Christ, this is so slow. Granted, I wasn't really getting, like, I haven't gotten the B-52 just playing an entire round with the F-15, but it's not much faster. We have to go back immediately for the bomb. I haven't gotten the buff or the bear, and I think the bear is going to be a little bit more difficult, because I don't have a fulcrum. I do have a Foxpat, though. But the Foxpat is kind of annoying to play in this situation, because there's so many fucking clouds on this map, typically, as I found. So the whole, haha, yo, TD jump scare doesn't really function. Slow down now. Slow down. A little hard there. Unfortunately, the Rio back here isn't a cute girl, so I'm not allowed to blow their back out. Suboptimal, really, honestly. That looks interesting. It's probably already been hit by a bomb, though, by the time we get the fuck over there. Also, it disappeared. Yep, no, they've been nuked. funny, Dancing Fool. Okay, so we're gonna hope we're gonna get Salter Creek. Glowing sea of irradiated kobolds. Don't know that Uma Musume, though. Wait, no, that probably, no, that already got hit. I know that already got. That guy's going back at that kid. Good Christ, it's like finding out that incredibly friendly and social girl on the internet already has a boyfriend. Or isn't a girl. It's just some guy wearing whatchamacallit, a VR chat avatar. It's rather sad. No? I don't know what that F4E is doing. So are you going to drop a bomb over there? And, no, he fumbled. All right. All right, that guy fumbled the weird girl. We got this. Bombs away. Yes, Dancing Fool. In some cases, it's still entirely accurate, but yeah, no, we go in expecting the person wearing the cute girl avatar and acting all social to actually be a girl, but they never are, and unfortunately, there was only one.
Attention to the designated grid
There was only
zone.
one AA there. So yeah, it's still entirely accurate for what it is, because most men, when they see someone acting effeminate, you know, with a cute, anime girl avatar, they kind of want it to be a girl, and if it's not, it's kind of a disappointment. And really, at the end of the day, a lot of these people that are doing this are just doing it for free attention, and that's... There's no law against that, but come on. But what the fuck do I know? I'm just a guy on the internet that, when they play games, they want to project onto male characters, because I want to be a guy. I know, whoa, dangerous fucking concept. Though it is quite funny to actually think back and reflect about that whole argument that people had a long time ago about men playing female characters, and a lot of the people who were like, yeah, I play female characters all the time! What are you, gay? And those people were actually gay, or actually, more often than not, as I saw it, actually went transgender. There's a really funny correlation to that, and oh, that guy has a well, God bless him, but oh. Of course the Automod got pissy over that one. Well, of course, but it's Kick, so no one gives a shit. It has the thin veneer of moderation, but everyone knows that AI moderation is completely worthless because the standards it's written to follow don't make any fucking sense, so... what it does doesn't make any sense either. People are really trying, but eventually we're kind of just repeating the OGAS problem that the Soviets had, where no, you can't have freedom of information without having freedom of information, and if you program a system with false, erroneous information to, control, political power or influence, then the system doesn't work properly because you have told it to tell lies. mean, I tend to play female characters because I like staring at titty in my games, which is fair, and also was the excuse given back in the day, but, you know, there's a rather surprising correlation with how many of those people wound up going transgender when, you know, that became a thing. We're talking like, from like the early 2000s, early to late 2000s, these arguments on the internet, and then moving past to like 2013, 2016, a lot of these people were suddenly trans. Just shit you notice that you're not allowed to notice because that's dangerous. Yeah, I must be a hateful bigot. No, I've actually just noticed that a surprising number of people I used to interact with online are transgender now. Like, a lot of the people I used to play World of Tanks with are transgender. Last time I checked now, I still kind of have them on Steam, and it's kind of really weird to see, you know, some of those people.
Attention to the designated grid zone. The enemy is attacking our base. We must reinforce.
You know, in a really fucked up way, it's kind of like saying, yeah, hi, yeah, that guy that you went to high school with, they're a stripper now. What? Okay, so that one's shooting at us. I'm gonna try and actually kind of toss that one that way and then get the fuck out of the way of whatever the fuck that is. Oh no. Yeah, I'm good! Nuke, please hit the radar set before it hits. Get good, good, fantastic. The nuke hit the radars for the AA before the missile actually hit me. Great, fantastic.
Attack! Hostile troops!
I heard that. I think that was the nuclear explosion and not the missile passing me, but how many spawn points do I have? Yeah, this isn't fast enough. Yeah, this is really kind of sluggish. So yeah, honestly, I think, yeah, I'm gonna have to go all in on air kills, because I hadn't tried going full nuclear as fast as possible, but this is incredibly slow. We're going to win, but fuck you, I want to fly the B-52! I'm hitting full bases basically every sortie, and I'm still not even close. Alright, it still pisses he grows a better beard than me. Sometimes it just happens like that, it's weird. So yeah, now the game's over and I still didn't get the fucking buff. So I guess you have to go all in with air kills then, because you saw me, I was dropping nukes on full bases. It's not like I was getting any closer. So yeah, I guess we're just gonna cruise in the F-15A until we actually get the buff. Though, yeah, I've got that's the task. Mercifully, the tasks for this event, they're really easy to do. It's not that bad as long as you have a functioning match. That bastard can grow a beard a dwarf would be proud of. Damn. Unfortunately, he got the genetics for that one. But yeah, shit you just notice. It's, you know, again, there's no law against this sort of thing. It's just really bizarre that, you know, I see these people and everyone's suddenly trans. Like, I'm not sure exactly sure what you know, when that happened or not, but, like, at worst, a lot of these people I used to hang out with were just annoying, like, white kids. Maybe that had something to do with it, I guess, but, like, they were just kind of, like, the worst of them, were, like, just annoying, you know, white boys. You know, that were autistic and played tank games. But, you know, we were all kind of annoying autistic white boys. That was kind of our thing. But, yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'm just... we're gonna lose this, but I don't know. It's just that you aren't allowed to mention the amount of mental health issues in that community, especially this stuff like the bipolar and other personality disorders. Yeah, honestly, if you're gonna be really, really decisive and, you know, a little bit damning about it, a lot of people are trans because it's solving other issues and not because they have gender dysphoria. It's kind of just covering up other issues. But we're not allowed to talk about that yet. We will one day when we can actually have proper, fair, unbiased, like, scientific assessment of what the fuck we're doing, but that's not today. But, you know, it may sound offensive to some people, but I don't think the vast majority of people that claim to be trans right now have anything resembling gender dysphoria as we scientifically knew it before. A lot of them are mentally ill by definition. If you have dysphoria, you have a mental illness, and no one is willing to really try and treat it as one. I mean, yes, but that's another thing. If gender dysphoria is an illness, shouldn't you try to fix that? But that's a dangerous concept, because, oh no, maybe they want to be trans. If being transgender is caused by gender dysphoria, which is a mental illness, we should try and correct that. The optimal state is you feeling comfortable in the gender that you were born in, not like a, you know, like a compromise to, you know, to be another gender, to, like, alleviate that problem. Shouldn't we just fix the problem? But no, says everyone, we can't do that yet, because that's dangerous. Fixing a problem? No, that's a dangerous and daring concept. Can't have that. I'd like to hit the man with the sparrow. That looks like it's tracking. Nope, it's in the ground. Okay. I am going too fast to make this turn. However, the snap turn queen is not actually snap turn queening. That's... Another one got me, but oh well. See, I haven't really adjusted to Eagle Brain, because I'm going too fast all the time, because that's what you kind of do if you're a moron at top tier. But sue me, I haven't been playing War Thunder for like 4 months, because there has been no reason to play War Thunder for 4 months. So really what I should be doing is not being on the fucking burner, but I just want to get, you know, within visual range to shoot at people, even though that's 9 clicks, and, you know, we're engaging from farther away than that. And there are people who get groomed into it due to their other issues. It's why I had a very serious conversation with my brother when he came to me about it. Yeah, there is that. There are, again, another conversation we can't have. A lot of fucking impressionable people have led to believe that they have gender dysphoria or are secretly trans because they're impressionable. They believe things people tell them at face value without really knowing any better than, hey, wait, that's maybe not it. Which is unfortunately being kind of hastened by the fact that being trans gets you a lot of free attention, because the transgender community likes to cheerlead a lot for itself. So that kind of, you know, sudden burst of attention to somebody who isn't really, you know, that socially, you know, skilled and doesn't really have that many friends is kind of exciting and addicting. That's not good. But again, conversations we can't really have. You could do whatever the hell you want, though, but you're not gonna look at me with a straight face and tell me there aren't some fucking weird shit going on that probably isn't right. Also, a lot of good friends to toxicity in that community as well. Yeah, that's another thing. They're also violently toxic, and that makes people really resistant to point out the problems because they will be, you know, crucified and excommunicated from that sudden, you know, well of attention, sympathy, and support. And some people aren't mentally sound enough to handle that, so they kind of just look the other way at the problems because I don't want to be kicked out of the group. But when you're making major changes to your body, this is not good.
We have destroyed the enemy's base.
This is not something this is not something that should fall under peer pressure. That's actually rather destructive.
We need to put more pressure on the enemy. They're winning.
Not to mention a seriously disturbing amount of people into things that are just outright against the law. Yeah. But again, we're not allowed to do this yet anyway. Like, we're not gonna throw them all in camps or anything like that, but we're gonna have a serious talk about, hey, look, some of this shit is not fucking okay. But again, people are like, oh no, this is my chance! And again, they're afraid of pissing off the group and being excommunicated for, you know, pointing out problems, and some people are just really awful people looking for a fucking lottery ticket, and they won't get up and say the things that are actually fucking right and will actually help people, because what's in it for me? Moral of the story is, wow, people, Jesus Christ. Hi there, server hamster, I felt that. Oh, he's gonna get fucking saved by a lag switch, that son of a bitch. See, unfortunately, the radar works on the server, and if the server lags, the radar skips, and suddenly the target isn't, you know, where the radar says. So, you get this kind of odd problem. I think I can get in with a Sparrow at this range. If he stops lagging. Yep, yeah, there we go. That was a waste of 3 Sparrows, but you know what? The third one got him, and this is also a round where we're not going to get a buff anyway.
If we don't do something fast,
Actually, that...
our base is under attack.
Was that a Sidewinder? No, it wasn't. Okay, I just switched to Sidewinders for some bizarre ass reason, and he goes directly into the fucking dirt. Wow. And the M-Winder just kind of went, ooh, fireball! A good chunk of them are going to end up on a certain registry. Not because they're trans, but because they're awful people, obviously. But again, we can't really fix these problems because people are afraid of letting any kind of authority have a serious look at this because, well, honestly, the moment we start looking for problems, we're gonna fucking find them, and then the party's fucking over. Which, again, is incredibly two-faced, deceptive, and morally bankrupt, but people are like, this is my one thing, you can't take it away from me, ah! I'm nothing without making gender politics my entire goddamn personality! Which is really fucking sad, and that's not really... Look, everyone has some kind of fucking skill. You might not get attention for it, but everybody's got some kind of fucking thing going for them. Nope. That man is in a notch, and he is running away. It's world in conflict, and the nuke is projecting ECM rays. Alright, yeah, I'm gonna have to pull off that guy. I'm never gonna catch him. I'll go for these assholes who are trailing him. See if we can get that Mike Winder off. Yeah, that's a hit, I think. Yep, he's fucked. All right, so that's 2. All right. Clean. He's... I mean... Good way to go out. Still got the kill, though, but good way to go out. Okay, do I have... Okay, that is a nuke. That is the delayed sound of the nuke going off. So I've got 2 Waymon M's left. Best to let that topic lie before Automod nukes me again. Yeah, that's probably gonna happen. But thankfully, nobody cares on Kick. Absolutely fucking nobody gives a shit on Kick because, no one really cares about anything but money here, I guess, from a streaming platform. So, I'm not going to get banned by Twitch moderators because there aren't any. I'm not going to be dropping slurs all damn day long here, but you could do that on Kick and it would take forever for you to get noticed or for people to take issue with it. I'm not going to do that, but yeah, that's kind of just Kick. That's what's nice about it. And also, Jeff Bezos doesn't get a fucking cut, or less of one, even though Kick does utilize some of Amazon's servers. But it's utilizing it in a way where I get more fucking money. That's good for you guys, too, because when you give me money, it actually goes to me and not Jeff Bezos. I thank you all for your support over these years, really I do. But, yeah, Jeff Bezos has been stealing most of your money. Unless you do it through PayPal, and then PayPal takes some off the top still, but more of it gets to me. Which is how I stay in business and alive. That'd be 2 minutes of fuel. Yep, nope, we gotta go back. Yeah, although we've lost all of our fucking airfields, so we have to fly clear across the map. No, I'm not making it back there. Fuck it, all in. The match will probably be over by the time I get to the airfield, if I even make it. There's a guy there, really low. I think he's coming for the Hawks. Yeah, that guy. That guy, right there. There are targets closer that I can't fucking see. It's that guy. Damn it, Mike Winders, you're supposed to be flare fucking resistant. That only works from rear aspect shots, though. That's interesting. That's real fucking interesting, guys. Whoa. Oh, come on! God damn it, AA! Well, now I haven't got any fucking missiles left, and I have 20 seconds of fuel. I get down there and punch that guy out for stealing my fucking kill. God damn it. You know what? Now, Right. Now I'm the Colonel from fucking Red Dawn. I'm going down there to punch that guy out. See, that's 200. That's even less because we haven't really been getting any kills, so this is a bit of a fucker, isn't it? Granted, we only saw one B-52 the other game, and so this is kind of difficult to actually get the number of kills. I think you need like 25, and we do not have 25. Like the fact that socialism has killed more people than any other political system throughout history. Entirely correct. It's also failed basically all of its objectives, but people continue to promote it because they think this time it'll work. Or rather, this time it'll work because I get to control it, and I get to become basically a fucking dictator if it works. For like 5 minutes. And then there's just people who just want to be like, oh, the system as it works won't let me win, so I gotta find some way to destroy the system, and any way that does that is good, even though that's not how that works. And if you gave these people complete power, they would immediately start fucking things up, killing hundreds, maybe thousands of people by their actions, and going like, that's not my problem. Giving people power really does showcase who they actually are. And most of them are kind of terrible people. Though granted, absolute power corrupts absolutely, so nobody is safe from that, but that's kind of like being able to tell what's going on inside a person's head, like, by how they treat pets. Really simple, obvious tell if somebody's a fucking sociopath. Really? I can't even talk about a historical fact now, Kick? No, apparently, because historical facts are offensive. Damning absolute facts are against the rules, because it means I can't do what I want to do, because if you prove me wrong, I can't do it. But if I silence you through basically force of arms, then I can do whatever I want! Unfortunately, a lot of people aren't interested in what's right anymore because a lot of them are just looking for a lottery ticket. That's not everybody. There's still good people out there. However, unfortunately, a lot of people right now, especially with the economy being what it is, basically worldwide, a lot of people they haven't gotten to scalping people yet, but they're reached the uncaring kind of sociopathic levels, wherein everybody's secretly every man for himself, but we're not, again, robbing people in the street for the most part. It's not mass hysteria and, like, people abandoning all, like, semblance of normality because they just want to survive. We're not there yet, but we're getting there. We're kind of on the path currently, and it's really just a bunch of people being assholes to each other when they can get away with it.
The enemy is winning. We've got to counterattack.
A lot more of that going on right now. It's somewhat understandable, however, Jesus fucking Christ, this is not how a society functions. But again, a lot of people don't really care if a society functions if they're not really getting what they want. I'd like some kills, please. I did get some kills, but I'd like my kills, please. That's a lot of fucking missiles. So there's a fulcrum back there locking me, but I don't know where the fuck he is, so I'm just flying away now. That's a 23, not a 29, okay. That's probably just that guy, then. The game is gonna be over imminently, but okay. Also, I just noticed I'm at Sparrows. Trying to buy his and his wife's friendship with my generosity. Oh, you mean like being a good person? Like, the things that you should get when you're a good person? Whoa! Dancing fool, who the fuck are you? No one would be a good person. No one would do things without, like, you know, like any kind of monetary benefit whatsoever? Wow, that's preposterous.
This time the enemy has proven stronger.
Like, you think that if you do good things for people, that they should, like, respect that and then maybe think about doing something good in return? What are you, a Nazi? What the fuck, man? Unfortunately, that's how a lot of people act when they want to be just basically selfish, irresponsible jerkwads, because they want to get what they want and leave without having to have any responsibility to anyone but themselves, because that means they have to expend some of the things that they have gotten in, you know, in like moral, good standing, compensation. It's not even really compensation. It's, dude, look, somebody did something nice for you. You should do something back. Or at least respect them for it. And then, maybe try and do something if it's not too much. But if they actually do something really nice for you, you really should fucking pay them back. Because even though you can't necessarily expect that or demand it from certain people, it should still fucking happen. Because that's kind of how the world goes around, because if we're all selfish assholes, society as a whole doesn't work, because with no need or inherent, trust between people, nobody cooperates, and if nobody fucking cooperates, society doesn't function. That's why anarchy doesn't really work, because anarchy is just believing that people will be able to exist together, but isolated. That's not how that works, though. That's not how you keep a community running. I help where I can for the people I like. I do the same. Unfortunately, I haven't been treated exactly fantastic by certain people, but they are right in a way that I can't control people. However, that doesn't mean I should be a selfish asshole in return. Except for the people that have proven that they're not gonna do anything good for me no matter what the fuck I do for them, no matter how much effort I expend. Then that person's just kind of a bottomless fucking pit. And that's not good for you. At all. However, that's not literally everyone, and that person who does that is the abnormal one, because again, people need to work together and give when they possibly can in order to make sure that everybody's happy and has their fair share. That's how you run a fucking society. Because if everybody's a selfish asshole, it doesn't work. A friend of mine once told me a very good metaphor, I believe. I'm not exactly sure what the hell you would call it now off the top of my head. I'm not terribly smart. But think of it like this. If I say I have food, and you say you have food, but you're lying, then we still have a workable civilization, because I'm telling the truth, even though you're a lying bastard. I might still share my food with you, even though you're an asshole, because if I don't, you starve. And I look at that and go, well, that's not right. You should probably learn from this, you dick. But that's still a functioning society, because I have something, and this can build a society. However, if I say I have food, and I'm lying, and you say you have food, and you're lying, neither of us has anything. And so we starve to death, and there's no civilization, because there's nothing to build on it, because we're a bunch of lying assholes that don't have anything. So that's why the example given was why you can't build a civilization on lies, and why lying is inherently absolute evil, which that is a pretty good way to articulate that point, because if everyone's a lying asshole, nothing works. Yep, that's a metaphor, right? Sometimes I'm not terribly fantastic on the English language. Sometimes I just have ideas in the form of Morse code, and I don't really understand them. They just come out of my fucking mouth. But generally, I try to be a good person. I help people when I am able to help them when they ask for help. However, I'm also kind of a sane person, and also a person in general, so that I sometimes will need help back, and I will expect it from people who I have done good by, and they say they are my friends when they do that. Well, when I do that. So, this is kind of how this is supposed to work. You're not supposed to demand it and expect it all of the fucking time, but, when somebody does something for you out of the kindness of their fucking heart, you should probably return the damn favor. Or again, nothing really functions, and no one has any reasons to be friends with each other. And not even just friends, even cooperate on a basic level. Why would I grow food for you, says the farmer. Fuck you, it's my food. That guy has a field of food, it's not as big as it possibly could be, but he has a field of food, and, well, everybody else gets fucked. But if the farmer says, I have food, here, take some, the people may appreciate it. And then they may assist the farmer in making even more food. I feel like this is like bonehead kindergarten logic, but some people fail to follow this. It's like saying, oh, I can cheat, so I shouldn't play the game fair. Splash. Nothing matters because I can lie and get everything for free. Ha ha! That will eventually catch up with you. Because sometimes you get put in a situation where you're not able to save yourself, and if you don't have someone who can come in from the outside and save you,
Attention to the map.
you're fucked. That's it. And I can say, at least in my case, that the power of friendship does really exist, and man, has it saved my fucking skin several times. I would do the same things for my friends even before they did, these tremendous favors for me. But, yeah, sometimes I get myself into a situation where I don't have any way out and I need my friends to help me, and my friends help me. Not because I'm the most amazing person in the world, and damn, you should fucking help me. Damn right you should. I'm great! No. It's because they like me, for whatever the reason they like me, and seeing me suffer and die horribly wouldn't sit right with them. Like it doesn't sit right with me if I were to see that and I was able to do something. I've been there several times in my life, it's why I try to help others when I can. Exactly. Unfortunately, we shouldn't all have to go through hardships, but we all have to because that's just kind of the nature of the world. However, going through hardships like that makes you a humble person, and to realize that, yeah, wow, that situation you're in? Yeah, I've been there. It's a fucking nightmare. Let me help you. Good God. However, unfortunately, some people look at that and go, wow, thanks. That was an accident. I'm not gonna think any differently. I may actually fuck up and get myself into the same position again. It gets really complicated when people are that stupid, but stupid people are very complicated. And stupid. They're very simple. They don't do the right things. But they're also very complicated, and they find very ingenious, inventive, brilliant ways to not do the right fucking things. It's really quite amazing sometimes. Some people are parasitic and think others will always save them, which is, bad. You should be able to save yourself, obviously, and you should be able to take care of yourself without constantly needing people to help you. However, in some cases, like I said, fate's not that kind. Sometimes you will be put in through the massive, uncontrollable spinning wheels of the universe. Some shit will line up and you will get an absolutely awful hand of cards. Cards so awful that they may fucking, almost kill you. And if you have no way out of that, you're dealing with that, and if it kills you, well, you're dead. But, through the power of friendship, we avoid these things. And this is also how society keeps fucking functioning. This is why we have things like emergency services. The firemen coming to save your stupid ass from the burning building? What the fuck is in it for them? Why the hell should anyone care that your house is on fire? The drug addict that's, dying of an overdose in a bathtub? The EMT looks at them and says, that's a you problem, skill issue. Why should I help you? We help people because that's how everything fucking functions. And I can make these analogies directly because I'm from an emergency services family. I know these people, I've grown up around these people. Hell, my mother is a qualified trained nurse, was a volunteer EMT for several years, and worked at dispatch for the fire department. And my stepfather is a retired fire chief. No points for guessing how that happened. But, again, I know these people. They come save you from whatever stupid bullshit you get yourself into, no matter what. Apes together strong, and sometimes that is basically it. So yeah, family's not the best. Though then again, most people have some grievances with their families, but I know a thing about doing good things for, you know, for people because you need to do them, and somebody should goddamn do them, if you can. Sometimes I wonder if I should have gone to med school. Or maybe, hell, maybe become a firefighter, honestly. The writing was kind of on the wall, but so was joining the Air Force. The road's not taken and all that shit. But then again, me going to med school with the whole Necronica thing I carry around, that would have been a little bit too on the nose, right, guys? My mother has seen a lot of shit, but she also has a kind of a black humor about this sort of thing, and I probably would have gotten that too. I mean, hell, it's already here even without all of that, so it probably just would have been even worse. Hey, yep, there we go. You would have ended up working at the morgue. That's kind of my brother's thing. I probably would have tried to avoid being like my brother, but then again, I've got that touch of darkness too, so I can't really deny it. Again, the whole Necronica thing and writing apocalypses. It's just so much fun. I probably would have wind up a doctor that you know treats children and gives them their diagnosis while talking through a skull. Oh, little Timmy, you've got a toothache? Using the skull to talk in front of me? Ah! Sorry, kid, that's terminal. You're toast. Figuring out how the world functions and then breaking that world is really fun, yes. Building a world backwards is a rather entertaining process. Because you kind of build something just to break it, and then through Necronica storytelling, you kind of just spend the entire time telling people how cool it was before you broke it into a billion pieces, and you let the players put together the shards of the mirror. But yeah, yep. Road's not traveled, I suppose. But really, I try to be a good person, though sometimes it gets the better of me. Sometimes I'm not exactly good, but I'm generally going to apologize if I did something wrong. Not because I'm afraid of what people will think, but because I will feel bad and I feel like there are mistakes. Unfortunately, no one gets to go back in time and, stop themselves from making mistakes or deleting said mistakes. If everyone could do that, time would cease to function properly because of everyone hopping back and forth trying to fix everything. So no one gets to do that, says God. So we all just kind of have to live with the things that we do, and then if we make a mistake, we attempt to fix it. If you're a good person. Otherwise, if you're an asshole, you just make a mistake, say, well, you make up some fucking excuse why it's not your fault, and you run away. Unfortunately, we kind of have to deal with these people. However, the objective is, to live in a polite society where we don't shoot people in the gutter for doing these sorts of things. We hope that they learn, and then we say, well, I'm gonna try and not need that person in my life ever again. That's the best we can do. Now I'm getting philosophical. I'm also getting philosophical here, so don't worry. I've got Children's Movie Lessons 101. Unfortunately, a lot of people of my generation totally failed Children's Movie Lessons 101.
Attention to the designated grid square.
Amazingly simple things like, holy shit, be a good person, or, love actually does fix a lot of things, and so you should probably, find a nice woman and, settle down. Or women, you should probably, find a nice man and settle down. Or even not just nice, that's too descriptive. You should find somebody that is actually a good person.
Attention, the designated grid zone.
Unfortunately, though, a lot of the cool people out there have just kind of forgotten literally all of this shit, and I'm not really sure how to fix it, but in a way, I guess I'm entering a phase of my life where I'm just kind of okay with leaving people in like, stewing in their stupidity rather than trying to argue with them, because, wow, have I spent a lot of time arguing with people on the internet, and wow, I am not being paid nearly enough to actually keep doing that. I can say it really hasn't done me any favors sitting here arguing with people on the internet. So I've decided to try and stop doing that as much as humanly possible and do something important, like use the internet for the, you know, infinite, you know, source of information that it is, and picking up cooking more. I like cooking, mainly because sometimes I'm anxious and I can't really figure out what the fuck to do with myself, and cooking means that, you know, if you set to working on something, you're gonna have something nice to eat at the end of it, so it's somewhat rewarding like that. And a lot of people in my generation cannot cook at all. I'm not, you know, a five-star chef, honestly, but I think I can cook more than most people can. So learning how to cook actual meals is novel to me, personally. Somewhat therapeutic in a way, and also a good skill to have now. Like the other day I learned how to make macaroni and cheese via using condensed milk, or evaporated milk, and just shredded cheese. But it has to have some kind of starch in its mixture, so you can buy like Cabot or Kraft cheese. So what you do, if you put the evaporated milk in a pot and you heat it on low heat, and then mix the cheese into it and stir it very gently, it'll actually all melt together into a rather surprisingly good cheese sauce. And you just have to boil pasta and you're fucking golden. I made it the other day. I was kind of shocked. However, my problem was I used a really cheapo can of, like, chicken, you know, like canned chicken breast. It was so salty and briny that it made it all taste like fucking cat food. But the cheese part itself was good. So when I do that, I'm just gonna fry a chicken breast the right fucking way and then maybe add some garnish. But yeah, it is a shockingly easy way to do that. Though I am learning how to do things like, you know, make proper sauces, and then I'm gonna start experimenting with actually cooking proper meats, because my grandfather was really big on cooking things like London broils. I haven't the slightest fucking idea how to cook a London broil. One day I will learn. However, I did see a recipe about, whatchamacallit, chuck steaks from a Navy cookbook. That actually looked pretty simple and actually really good. And, you know, you have to put it in a Dutch oven for like 2 hours in order for the chuck roast to actually soften enough for it to be fucking edible, but that seems simple enough for me. Dancing fool, who are you talking to? Oh, Gundrium, right, sorry. Alright, didn't see you come in there. My eyes didn't, like, Gundrium, your name is behind the microphone. Sorry about that. Dude, get a smoker. You will not regret smoking your meat. I have not experimented in that, but, you know, obviously smoked barbecue is making the goddamn rounds with the Japanese. So learning how to do that is also a nice skill. It's a bit of a fucking production, though, because it takes basically the whole day. Now, here I am not actually playing the game, talking, you know, walking around talking about food. So maybe Chef Horace, you know, streams are potentially a good idea. But really, it's just me watching cooking videos on YouTube and picking up the recipes and picking up, like, things that may be good components to put in other recipes. Like, for example, not included in the same recipe for the, you know, the whole evaporated milk and, you know, shredded cheese, macaroni and cheese, like, nearly instant mix was the idea of putting in 1/4 tablespoon of cayenne pepper and 1/2 tablespoon of Dijon mustard. And apparently this is a good way to bring out a cheese sauce. Like, you give it a bit of a zing and a sort of warmth to it. I would have never thought of using Dijon mustard in macaroni and cheese, but thinking about it, those two flavors right next to each other, even though I have never had this, actually doesn't sound too bad. Japanese and American Twitter meeting has cleansed my soul. Yes, it's nice to see that the offensively Japanese people actually like the offensively American people. Remember, be the American the Japanese think you are, because it's actually a really good stereotype, and honestly, way more fucking healthy than half the shit we do today. So if you've got nothing else, just be the comical cowboy Stan Hansen. The Japanese will at least love you. You'll probably feel better about yourself. The other things I have tried is everything bagel mix and egg salad. Well, that's just a bunch of seasoning in egg salad, so you know what, that probably isn't too bad. But one thing I've experimented on is what the Italians call poor man's pasta, which is you basically make egg drop soup a sauce, and it's actually kind of okay. Like, it comes out tasting like buttery, even though you don't put any butter in it. What you do is you also fry an egg on top of it, and you put breadcrumbs on top of it. You roast the breadcrumbs, obviously, not just raw. But the thing is, those give it a nice texture on top of the actually kind of buttery, kind of light sauce. I wouldn't have thought to try that shit either, but this is what happens when you watch cooking videos on fucking YouTube at like 2 in the morning. I learned to cook steaks like that back in Texas. I was terrible at it, but then I learned slowly. And then I don't really like medium rare steaks, but I started making them just to entertain myself. And this is when I could get a 1 pound fucking, like, what was it? What kind of steak was it? Flat iron steak? Yeah, like a 1 pound flat iron steak for $5 goddamn. Fucking hell, I miss Texas. So you make some rice, you make the you sear the steak in the pan, and you take it out, and then you put some butter in the pan. You dice up some garlic and some peppers in there, and you kind of just make a pan sauce out of that, and you have that with the the steak and the rice, and almost worth work. Actually no, it did make walking 4 fucking miles to get that actually worth it, because that's what I had to do when no one could drive me. I had to walk for groceries. It was 2 miles there and 2 miles back to the HEB. And I did it. Pretty much just because I had to at some places, but you know what? Hey, I was out there, I was living on my own for the first time in my life. I had money in my pocket. I went there I bought food for myself, and I fucking cooked it. Go me, a functioning goddamn adult. What's next? Getting a car? That was in the plans, but conditions were never fucking right for that, unfortunately. So, I don't have a car, and I still can't drive. Also, I can't fly. But I'm not really flying now, I'm sitting here talking. So I guess this is what we're doing with my morning. Mix butter with a hard-boiled egg and spread it over toast. It's good. That's a little odd, but yeah, I can see how that could work. One of the things I tried recently was 2 pieces of French toast with a poached egg between them, and either some fried ham or bacon. Well, that sounds that sounds perfectly fine. I think poaching the egg is a little extravagant in that case, but then you're gonna get a nice, like, runny sort of egg yolk in the middle of that, and that's probably great. Hey, at least you are getting some more food ideas. This is true. I also learned how to make a pretty bonehead simple but kind of monotonous to make tomato sauce for pasta for scratch. Basically what you do is you get an entire ass load of cherry tomatoes. Like, we're talking like 30 cherry tomatoes. You slice them all in half, which takes a lot longer than you'd think. You put that in a pan with some oil, and then you kind of just cook it down until it's all you know, mushy and kind of has the consistency of jam. And then you just kind of, you put an entire stick of fucking butter in it first. Which, again, yeah, just whole ass stick of butter directly into all of that. And then you finish it with garlic and basil, I think, or parsley. I can't remember exactly what I used, but I did make it once. I think it was basil. And that makes a actually pretty good, you know, like scratch sauce. Slice a bunch of cherry tomatoes. Make 2 lids. Take 2 lids and put the tomatoes between them. Run a knife through. I mean, yes, that's probably an easier way to do it than what I wound up doing. But there's a lot of fun things that I want to try because they seem so fucking delicious. And again, being a cook is, you know, not something that everybody can do right now. Everybody's kind of raised on fast food and instant ramen now. Which, speaking of which, I actually kind of experimented with making instant ramen last night before I, you know, came on stream. What I did is I made it like pasta alla Cessalina? Pasta alla assassin is what people usually call it. But the proper Italian term is assassinina for female assassin. So assassin's pasta, but it's a woman. And how you make that is you actually fry the pasta first. Most people like think you have to burn it, but what you do is you kind of char the pasta in the pan in oil, and what you do is you make basically a tomato paste and water slurry. And what you do is you pour that on the pasta in the pan to slowly cook it in basically its own sauce. The pasta releases its starches, and you know that combines with the, you know, the tomato paste and, you know, and water to actually wind up with a fairly decent sauce. And the pasta being, you know, charred, or, you know, it's not burned, but that's the easiest way of saying it. You burn it a little. It comes out with a nice, interesting kind of texture to it.
We're ahead of the enemy.
Assassin's pasta, yes, femme fatale pasta. So what I did last night with instant ramen was, one, I took a fucking store brand, like, Tyson chicken patty, right? And I looked at this and I'm like, this is my pork cutlet. And I put that in the toaster oven to cook it, but also to remain crispy, right? And then I took the ramen, and I put it in oil, and I seared it like you're making pasta alla assassin. And what I did then is I added butter, and then I added the chicken broth from the ramen into water, and I used that as the slurry to cook the, slowly cook the ramen while it's, frying in oil. And when that was all done, I left enough of that I cooked it enough, but kept enough water in there so you could still call it kind of a soup, but not really, so it wasn't like yakisoba or something like completely dry noodles. Like dry, greasy noodles. No, there was actually a sauce in there, and I sliced the chicken patty like you would do, like, pork tonkatsu, just for show, but I was kind of shocked because it actually came out tasting slightly like peanut-y, like sesame. Like you put peanut oil or sesame oil into it, but I didn't do that. So it had this kind of like warm, sort of nutty taste to it. It was actually not bad at all. I put a bit of pepper on that, and that might have helped it along here, but that was actually surprisingly good for just doing shit in a pan. That's kind of the magic of cooking sometimes. Sometimes you follow a recipe, and sometimes you're a 5-star chef about following a recipe exactly, precisely. And sometimes you just kind of do weird shit in the fucking pan and just whatever fucking you have on hand and whatever idea strikes you. That's the magic of cooking, just making shit up. And as long as it tastes good at the end, everything's fine, no matter how fucking insane it is. But yeah, that's something I'm gonna try again. But yeah, it really came out with a surprising flavor that was actually really pleasant as it was. It probably could have used some green onions or something to brighten it up a little bit, but you know what, as it was actually shockingly good. So I suppose that's just, my grandfather and my uncle coming through with my, feeling like cooking is a fun pastime. But again, it's kind of just because I'm somewhat sometimes a nervous wreck, and working on something, keeping my hands busy, keeps my mind distracted. And again, if you're doing this with cooking, you wind up with something delicious to eat, which is just great. So you put all that pensive work into something, you eat, you're full, and then you're calm. The wonders of food. But am I really playing War Thunder anymore, or am I just using this as an excuse to ramble about food and cooking? I don't know, but what the fuck ever, it's only been an hour and a half. By the way, from what I understand, talking about food while on mission is very on brand for the military, so technically we're being thematic. Yes, obviously. What do you do with your MREs, Which reminds me that for a while after I had gotten an MRE, and I had gotten the spoon out of an MRE, I cooked with that spoon for like 7 months. Love the MRE brown spoon. It is a gift. I would have still kept using it, but unfortunately I kind of singed it while I was cooking, and eventually it just kind of snapped in half. So it was a little bit melted, but I was still using it, and then eventually it just kind of just gave out on me, and just, like, the spoon snapped off the stick. Very sad, tragic, but unfortunately all soldiers go sometime, I guess. But yeah, I suppose when I can calm down and actually have, lots of money in a house of my own, I can actually calm down and just kind of go nuts with cooking, and just learning things just for the sake of it. I even learned, watched a video on how to make actual pasta from scratch, and it's actually not that difficult. It just takes fucking forever if you're doing it by hand. Because then you make the dough. You put the flour on the table after you douse the table with flour so nothing sticks. But you put the flour on the table, and you make a hole in the center of the flour, and then you crack the egg in the center of the flour, and then you mix the egg with the flour. You mix it until you wind up with a dough. And then you take the dough, and you wrap the dough in a plastic for like 30 minutes or so for it to properly set. And then once you have that, you have workable dough that's properly hydrated and, still moist enough to actually work into something. And then you beat the dough. You beat the dough like a $2 whore for 20 minutes. Or you have like a KitchenAid, a blender with the dough hook, which now I see why those things cost so damn much. But back in the old country, we beat the dough like a $2 whore, all by ourselves, slaving away in the kitchen. But now we have a machine that beat the whore for us. And so we get to relax and enjoy ourselves. And actually making pasta once you've made raw dough is actually fairly simple. It's kind of just folding it on itself and laminating it, so you just kind of like folding katana steel. You flatten it, and then you roll in it on itself, and you flatten it again until it's kind of homogenized and thin. And then you kind of just cut it, or you run it through, a pasta attachment for, again, the fucking KitchenAid blender, which, again, now I know why those things cost so damn much, and they weigh like 50 tons. But after that, you can kind of just do whatever, and then you can make regular pasta, and you just kind of coat it in flour to make sure it's not going to stick to itself when it goes through, the pasta cutter. And then you just take the pasta and you throw it in boiling water for like 40 seconds, and then it's done. You've made homemade pasta. I have not done this yet because it sounds like a lot of fucking work to actually make it from scratch, but it's something that I can do now, I think. I also learned how to make ravioli, and it's not much more difficult, honestly. Most of it is just the filling, and then the act of folding, the ravioli, folding the dough with the filling in it and cutting the ravioli out of it is somewhat more technical, but not really. And also, I didn't do a single thing. I flew around for fucking 15 minutes on full burner, wasting all of my fuel. I may be a big, ugly, fat fellow, but I'm not getting a fucking buff like this. Our cheap roller broke, and we used a laundry rack to dry the pasta. Good times. Yeah, no, that'd be the old Italian redneck grandma way of doing it. It's not difficult. It's just that you don't know how to learn how to do it. It's a bit work intensive to make pasta like that, but it's not difficult. It's just that people in my generation don't know how to do these things because no one told us where the fuck the directions are. But hello, we have the fucking internet. We could look things up. It's better than arguing with people about stupid fucking politics and dumb shit like that. It's not outclassing the porn, though. The porn's nice. But there's some things that I'm just gonna have to try and recreate from scratch because I don't think there's a recipe for it. Because there was this, I want to say yellow rice, but it was fucking orange. That's when my grandfather cooked this. It was orange. What he would do is he would take like rice and kidney beans and like chicken thighs and chicken breasts, right? He would, he cooked the chicken, obviously, but then he'd throw all of this into a fucking pressure cooker.
If we don't do something fast, the enemy will win.
And what came out was absolutely fucking delicious, even though it was kind of weird. And what he says is he picked it up from working at Pan Am. He says they called it Ogopogo and they served it on flights going to Hawaii. This is what he said. I do not know what the fuck the recipe for this was. I will probably have to recreate it by myself. That's just one of the things that, that's a little bit of home. And then there was also my grandfather's, cheeseburgers, which they're not really anything more extravagant than cheeseburgers. But the thing that makes them particularly cheeseburgers that my grandfather made is he used an absolute assload of garlic salt in them. So that taste is just home. It's not difficult to make either. You'd also make meatballs the size of your goddamn fist, and you would season them with cumin, so that's another very distinct taste. Fucking hell, now I'm imagining, like spaghetti and meatballs made by my grandfather. Again, these meatballs were absolutely goddamn massive. Like, they wouldn't even be whole by the time you would actually have a plate of this stuff. They would, he would put them, set them, he wouldn't mix them into the pasta would be separate. But by the time the meatballs made it to your fucking plate, they'd fractured like icebergs. But they were goddamn delicious. So, think any meatball that you ever had in your entire life. That's what one of the fractures was sized. Oof. Damn it. I believed in the sparrow, and the sparrow let me down. But hey, I'm not actually playing the video game. I'm talking about goddamn food here. Why I'm wasting my time? Speaking of cumin, I had Japanese curry for the first time recently. Now I get why manga and anime treats the stuff like ambrosia, because it is. I've never actually really... I've had Japanese curry, but it was from an American Japanese restaurant, so it's not exactly really curry. Or really that authentic, but that stuff does look good, even though it's just brown mush you have with rice. It's way more complicated than that, but really just generally looking at it, curry is just a fucking thick gravy that you have with rice. Whoa. Though one of the other things that my grandfather taught me to make, aside from teaching me how to make eggs, that's how I learned to make scrambled eggs, my grandfather taught me. And then, fried eggs as well from that. One of the simplest things that you could have on, if you're making dinner. If you're making dinner and you want, side ideas. You just take a regular-ass bag of frozen peas and carrots. Any bargain bin, frozen peas and carrots or mixed vegetables or something like that from the supermarket that you can fucking think of. And you just put that in a pot, you put some butter in it, and you salt it to taste, and it's absolutely goddamn amazing. It's one of the most dumbest, rock-stupid, simple things I ever learned how to cook, and Frankly, my grandfather could never make enough of it. So that's something I keep in my back pocket if I need something to actually make alongside something I'm making. I've also taken a liking to basmati rice because I feel that it actually has a fucking taste. Like, most people have, like, jasmine rice or something like that, but that's, you know, jasmine rice is clean, but it also tastes like nothing. Like, basmati rice actually has a taste to it, like, so much so that you can kind of eat it plain. Probably want to put some butter on it or something, but it's still perfectly fine, like, eating it just as is. So that's become my preferred rice when I actually can make that. And, well, good, someone got a buff here while I'm talking about all this food. Basmati rice is so much better. As I have found, yeah. Again, jasmine's very clean, very simple, but it kind of just tastes like nothing mush if you make it normally. It really depends on what you make it with to kind of save the rice itself, because the rice is just kind of like eating water. Yeah, my dad hates basmati rice exactly because it has flavor. Well, would you like some nothing with your food, sir? I mean, granted, not everybody's taste buds are the same. They're kind of like fingerprints. Some people got the really fucked up gene where oregano tastes like soap. Poor bastards. But that's what I've grown accustomed to, at least for right now.
Attention to the designated grid square. If we don't do something fast, the enemy will win.
I cooked something else for a while. I did a lot of pasta dishes because they're very simple.
We suffered a defeat. Head back to base.
You can do a lot of things with pasta, but it's mainly just the sauce and how you prepare it. Like, the poor man's pasta is like a really off-the-wall sauce to be making with it, because again, you're basically making egg drop soup. Like, the proper way of doing it is like cooking it in lard and garlic, and you melt the lard and you have the garlic, you crush the garlic and you put it in there, and then what you do is you fry an egg in that after you remove most of it to kind of just keep it down so it isn't like soup. So you kind of remove that from the pan after you mix it all together, and then you fry an egg, and you put the egg aside so you can put it on top of the pasta later, because the crunchy sort of like firm texture and then, the runny yolk, it actually really does help. And then what you do is you put the lard and the garlic back in the pan, and then you crack 2 eggs into it, or 1 egg depending on how much serving you make. And you just cook that egg like, again, you're making egg drop soup. And it comes out tasting really good, but I didn't use lard, I used oil, which is somewhat suspect, but basically what I did is I took oil and I very carefully cooked granulated garlic in the oil, which is probably a terrible fucking idea, but you know what? As my grandfather and my uncle once said, every man should learn to cook for himself. But my addition to that is, when a man cooks for himself, and just himself, he realizes that he has very low standards. So there are some things that I have made that I think are kind of okay, but I probably wouldn't serve to someone else. Right, so I didn't have lard on hand, so I used oil, and it actually, again, came out pretty good, even though I was basically just, hey, here's some olive oil, here's 2 eggs, cracked in it, and, reduced with, reduce down, and then you add some pasta water while you're cooking the pasta alongside it. You add some of the pasta water, which has starch in it, which is actually a really common ingredient for making good sauces. So if you're making a pasta, what you do is you save like a cup or a couple of ladles full of the pasta sauce, and that really actually helps a sauce. And so what you do is you mix the oil with the pasta water and then, with the garlic itself, and the egg just kind of melds into it, and it comes out tasting really, like, smooth and buttery for something that has no butter in it. So it actually, again, it's a kind of a light sauce, and it kind of relies on how well you salt the pasta while you're cooking it. So you're supposed to add salt to the pasta. So the like, having well, like, salted pasta is kind of helpful with kind of adding more flavor to it, because there really isn't much in the way of amazing flavor in this. It's just kind of a lot of weird stuff going on, but it all tastes good. And again, like the fried egg on top, the crunchy parts of that fried egg, even though you just kind of chop it up while you're eating it, that, like, again, I'm learning the benefits of texture in cooking. Because it's not just about flavors, it's about how these, this thing tastes when you're eating it. And so having a good balance of soft and hard things, this sounds really weird all of a sudden, but, having a good mix of, different textures in your mouth, it makes the eating experience more pleasant. And again, this sounds rather weird, but maybe we should all get our fucking minds out of the gutter. We're cooking, goddammit. Most of my recipes are what can be generously called bachelor recipes. Understandable. I'm kind of the same way on that one. But again, Dancing Fool, everyone else, watch cooking videos on YouTube. Like Binging with Babish. The man's a great showman, and he has a lot to offer in terms of knowledge, so go watch his fucking videos. And there's also Tasting with History, and there's Tasting History with, I forget his fucking name, but, he does a lot of historical recipes. And then I can't remember off the top of my head, but there's one Japanese account that I follow that posts a lot of recipes. It's a Japanese chef that was like a trained 5-star chef and worked in an Italian restaurant in Italy. So Mr. Worldwide over there does a lot of good videos on like pasta sauces and things like that. Cooking is like sex. I don't really do it, but I like watching. Okay, Gundrium, unfortunately, voyeurism doesn't really work out with cooking, because if you're just watching, you're not cooking, and so you're not eating. If you're not fucking cooking, there's no cock chair when we're cooking. You're either cooking or you're not, man. There's no space for a cuck chair in a Superman costume when you're goddamn cooking, man. I thought that was called North Korea. Psh, that's the communists starving while all the Western countries eat French and Italian cooking. Which, as I have found, most of cooking is basically descended from French and Italian cooking. I wonder why. I do want to sit down and learn some things from British cooking, though. It's somewhat difficult because there really isn't much to British cooking. Mainly because they live on an island with basically nothing, and also the whole World War II situation bombing them back to the appetite equivalent of the Stone Age. However, there are some nice things, like whatchamacallit. There's another channel that I see and watch videos occasionally from. I think they're just called Fallow on YouTube, but they run a restaurant in London called the Fallow Arms, and it's a very classy fucking joint, and they do a lot of good work with showing you how to cook things. So I do want to look into British cooking as well, even though I know I'm not going to find things. Like, the most amazing thing I'm probably going to find out of, like, English cooking is probably cottage and shepherd's pie, which, wow, go fucking figure with that one. Holy shit, it's vegetables, meat, and mashed potatoes baked in an oven. Like, that's so incredibly goddamn complicated and delicious. Fought wars over spices and then refused to use any spices in their cooking. Well, you can blame the bombs for that, from the Germans. You can blame the Blitz for that. But yeah, man, it must suck over there in England. Knowing how much of my generation can't cook at all, and then knowing how, like, destitute and, like, emaciated the British appetite is, it must be even worse over there. things keep getting this bad, honestly, they're probably gonna be eating, like, UN flour soup. Though on being also Mr. Worldwide here, Asian cooking is really nice too. It's just that it usually winds up needing a lot of ingredients I don't have, and are kind of expensive to stock up on with that kind of thing, so I don't typically find myself doing that. You know, being Asian and, you know, the Orient being such a diverse and unique and exotic place, it means that also all the things they use in their fucking cooking are unique, exotic, and not exactly on hand most of the goddamn time. Yeah, Asian cooking requires Asian ingredients. Yeah, very unique ingredients that like a normal North American family wouldn't think to stock up on. But again, everyone in the audience, if you want to learn how to cook, you just go watch cooking videos. There are people who make their livelihoods on making cooking videos. Go watch them. They will teach you recipes because that's how they make their goddamn money. And it's good goddamn money because they're also teaching you a skill. Really, most of cooking is following directions and, you know, proper preparation. And then they also tell you that too, along with the recipe. So it just really just follow along and see how it tastes. And once you've tried enough things, you've experimented with enough things, you know how enough things taste, you can start doing weird things. Because you know how things taste, and so you can put them alongside each other, knowing that, hey, this tastes like this and this tastes like this. What happens if I put these two together? The simplest thing is like garnish. It's like, how many things can I put green onions on that make them actually better? I'm kind of a fiend for those. Like, if I have to pick a garnish, I'm typically just gonna put green onions on something. I need to branch out a bit more, but that's just typically what I find myself wanting. But then I'm a crazy man. I can eat whole garlic. I don't eat raw, uncooked garlic, obviously, but, you know, when I was making steaks, I would actually just kind of, you know, crush the garlic like you're supposed to, and not, like, dice it into, like, small chunks. No, I would just, you know, crack it over the side, you know, with the side of a large knife and throw it in the fucking pan, and then, you know, when it's on the plate and finished, I would just eat the whole fucking thing. I can do that. I don't look sideways at that, and also I'm not adverse to onions in the same regard. Though I do want to make French onion soup, but holy shit, it's work intensive and takes a while. You know, try to actually focus on the game. I'm surprised you're not flying the Tomcat. I mean, you know, if I wanted to go full stupid mode, I could just go get the fucking Tomcat and fire phoenixes at people and just talk about cooking more. We'd even have a Rio there. I'd have a co-host. I have a lovely tomboy Rio who I tie to a chair and force to eat all of this food that I make. Don't worry though, if I wouldn't eat it, I'm not gonna serve it to you, but that doesn't really say very much because I cannot kind of, like, I've made some awful things and still ate them. Not believe how many cheese dishes I looked up for my zombie apocalypse writing since the main characters set up their enclave in the cheese caves. Ah yes, the cheese cave. The strategic cheese reserve. You would probably be eating so much goddamn cheese you would be sick of it by the time, like, you know, like year 3 rolled around. It would be interesting and wonderful. And then you'd hate it. Because you would have nothing but cheese. Honestly, most of their trade with other groups is cheese. Yes, because they have so much of it. They probably should, yeah, like the first thing you would do is you trade the cheese for other fucking things to eat or things to have with the cheese. Bullets and fresh food. You must, you have this domestic, immense amount of cheese, and you must trade some of the cheese for ingredients to actually make food. Edible food. Okay, that guy is not dead. But is that missile still tracking? It looks like it's still tracking. Yep, nope, that's still tracking. However, he's skipping off the... No, he's dead. And he's dead. This is what I get for talking about food while flying around. Some other people playing the Russian side really hate the F-15A, but hey, I'm barely playing the game in mine. I'm talking about food. God fucking damn it all. Oh, for the love of God damn... I start playing the game and nothing works. Maybe I should just, again, start a cooking stream. But I do want to learn to make at least all of the basic easy stuff that, is actually, things that you would want to, like the normal repertoire of shit to eat. Like, for example, Mr. Babish recently did a video on chicken soup and, multiple levels of making it more and more complicated. Very interesting to learn. And then also he did one on pasta, too, for certain levels and price points. And again, he walked you through all the steps of making basically everything by scratch. And then, expending a rather intimidating amount of money to make a ridiculous, spaghetti and meatballs. Spent $100 fucking and basically he ground up, Wagyu steak to make meatballs, and he was the entire way saying, don't do this. Why would you do this? This is a waste of a perfectly good steak. But it is nice to know, and even though you wouldn't, make a Wagyu steak into fucking meatballs for spaghetti and meatballs, the process of grinding up your own meat, whatever it is, to make meatballs out of cheaper meats is a useful thing to know. So yeah, you could use just ground beef for that, but also, you could also, take your, if you don't have ground beef, or you have a slightly better cut of beef that you want to put into a meatball. I now know the process by which you grind meat to make your own ground beef, and then make that into meatballs. Also, another very interesting thing you can do using... I forgot exactly what he called it, but it's basically like concentrated, chicken broth, like a chicken demi and the demi-glace, which is, a very, very, very work-intensive meat sauce to make. But basically concentrated beef and chicken. You kind of render it down to this goo and fat. And what you do is you render that into that goo and fat, and you mix it into the meatball, mix while you're mixing the dough into the flour and egg and whatnot. And so what happens is those chunks of, effectively chicken broth or beef broth go inside the meatballs, and while the meatballs are cooking, they turn back into liquid, and that keeps the inside of the meatball moist and adds more flavor, which, again, interesting. I should try that. Also, a video going around where a 5-star chef shows you how they scientifically learned how to make 5-star restaurant quality broth in 60 minutes using a pressure cooker and a Costco rotisserie chicken, which is quite interesting. They use science! It's rather interesting, makes a lot of good quality broth, and then also, if you freeze the broth, and then you put the ice cubes of broth in a glass, and you put them in a coffee filter and have them melt into a glass, you have what's called a consommé, which is a very, very concentrated basically chicken broth, and you also have chicken demi as well, which again you could use for those meatballs that I just mentioned. I am out of fuel, but I haven't lost my appetite. I was not looking at that number at all. You're out of fuel. You must go down. You're out of fuel. You must go down. You're out of fuel. You must go down. Cried the fair young maid. But don't listen to her. She's complaining. She wants me to make dinner. All this talk of food, she's hungry too. Like, is there even an airfield I could actually, like, I could try? Probably it's not gonna work, but I could try. But yes, so you make the chicken broth, or yes, chicken broth. That's exactly what I wanted to say. Why am I second guessing myself? But you make the chicken broth and you freeze it in an ice cube tray. You make little cubes of chicken broth, and then you take those cubes once they're frozen, and you again put them in a coffee filter over a glass, and it will separate the consommé from the chicken demi. And again, you have a very easy way of making chicken demi and using shit like that, which you can also do for a lot of other things because it's just like pure concentrated chicken. I have no idea what a consommé actually tastes like, though. I've never actually had that because it's kind of a bitch to make in French cooking. However, yeah, this method is probably is making waves though because it's incredibly fucking easy to make something like that. You literally just tear apart a Costco chicken, add like I don't remember how much water, but some water to fill the pressure cooker. You put it in the pressure cooker, and you strain what comes out, and you have actually really good broth. Amazing. So that's kind of the thing of going through different cooking videos and learning how to make certain things and how you could loop those together into other things. And how you can kind of do weird twists of things where, hey, this works with this, and this requires this, but what if I replace this thing with the first thing? Oh, what am I doing? Well, actually, the road is actually ahead of me, so you know what? Don't turn around. The road is right there. Okay, this is gonna get really fucking weird here, but I think I can probably put her down on this road. Actually, no, I'm going into the trees. Nope, nope. Nope, not making it. Should've turned. Oh well, though. Like, I've been sitting here talking for God knows how long, we've barely made any fucking progress. Am I really even playing War Thunder anymore? No, I'm not. I'm talking about fucking cooking. That is the streamer's job, though, and his lot in life. It's not really the video game, even though the gameplay itself does really make your career at some points. It's mostly about how good you are just talking about shit for hours and hours and hours, and boy, have I learned that skill. Can you believe that I was actually mostly an introvert before I did this? Can you believe that I had a problem talking publicly? Ah, well, I'll tell you, 10 years of this shit, and that'll fix that real goddamn quick. 4 times talking for 25 hours straight with very little interruption. Yeah, that fixes that. Being unable to speak my mind? Well, I can't speak of everything on my mind, but I can talk about a bunch of it. I can talk so long, no one wants to listen anymore. Which is kind of the inverse problem. But oh well, I'll find a balance eventually, I guess. But okay. We'll see through this round, and I think we're gonna call it for this morning, because I think that was enough fucking around here. I haven't gotten the buff, but, well, we accomplished the goal for today for, getting that one challenge. We'll have the buff eventually, we'll be able to fly it and probably instantly die every single fucking game. Because that's really all it's going to be. But, well, one of these days, if the whole streaming thing doesn't work out, I guess I could become a half-decent chef. That's actually still a good thing to have at the end of the day, a dad who can cook, right? Doesn't sound too bad. In fact, that was actually necessary the entire time, so you know what, might want to tick that box. Because you're gonna have to at some point. Because Lord knows, if I marry any woman in my generation, they're not gonna be able to fucking cook either, so someone's gonna have to fix this problem. I was wondering what that clapping sound, no, that's gunfire below me. Fortunately, everyone's over their AA net! God damn it! Oh well, I suppose I felt like talking for a while here. Maybe that's why I turned the stream on. I didn't sleep at all, and I was feeling kind of, I was feeling okay, but not kind of tense, not really all that calm. But, you know, energy-wise, I was okay. Eyes are open, not in horrible pain staring at my monitor or shit like that, but just kind of tense. Talking a lot, you know, I suppose in a way that calms me down as well, even though you can't really talk like this anywhere else. People call you a fucking crazy person and tell you to shut the fuck up. You can't really do that outside of streaming, and that's kind of how I make my money, too, so there's another factor for me, you know, calming down. Maybe if I talk so long and actually string together a couple of jokes and maybe something informative, someone will throw, you know, a couple coins in the guitar case, and then I'll be able to eat and pay my rent. It sounds peaceful, but man, is it a fucking nightmare sometimes with how much of a roller coaster it can be. And that's not your fault out there, guys in the audience. It's just that it's kind of how this career goes. When you're relying on it as your primary source of income, it's a fucking nightmare, which is why most people don't do that. But, well, unfortunately, I was kind of forced to live like that for the better part of a decade. You guys have helped me survive that long, and I thank you for it every day of my life, but yeah, holy fucking shit. It is not stable. You will lose sleep over this.
The enemy is attacking our base. We must reinforce its defenses. We have destroyed the enemy's base. Now, victory will come easily.
But I suppose I should look for something else also to think about cooking. I want to make that macaroni and cheese I mentioned again to kind of further refine it. But I'm going to be taking a trip to Ohio next week. Me and Lyle are going to have a road adventure. Or me and Martin are going to have a road adventure. You know him. Bye!
Our victory is near.
So we're going to see that, and I probably will wind up cooking that while we're up there in Ohio. And because it's, again, it's one, like, $2 can of evaporated milk and like a $5 bag of cheese, shredded cheese. That's it. And you just have pasta, any kind of pasta alongside it. If you didn't want to do anything else, that's what you do. That's incredibly easy homemade macaroni and cheese that actually tastes really fucking good for what it is. I, however, am going to be a bit extravagant. I'm going to properly fry chicken breasts. I'm going to chop them up and throw them in there. And then I'm going to add some chives and some green onions on top. And then also probably going to throw in the cayenne pepper and the Dijon mustard just to see what the fuck was going to happen. It's probably still going to be good. Not going to use that much, though, since that seems really fucking odd, honestly. I'm still kind of leery about the Dijon mustard and macaroni and cheese. Like, what the fuck? Like, it makes a sort of sense in a weird way, but what the fuck? But it's probably going to wind up tasting delicious. I'm going to use those big spiral pasta, too. Rotini, I think? The really big spirals. Ooh. Worst case scenario, best case scenario, I wind up tasting like restaurant food that's overpriced. But it only costs me, like, $15 to make all of it. The chicken's probably going to be more expensive than that, so it's probably going to wind up being like $20, $25. But the macaroni and cheese itself is probably going to take, like, no more than, like, $12. Which, again, if you buy, like, Kraft Blue Box, you'll probably, like, it's less expensive, but also less good. But I'm sure I'll find something to do, you know, once the money is actually a little bit better. Just experiment. Cook something odd that sounds delicious. My goodness, I'm sure if I had a girlfriend, she would love me or hate me. Then again, I'm the one doing all the cooking, so all she has to do is sit there and fucking eat it. Good timeline photo, I suppose, is that anime image, you know, going around where, you know, it's the girl saying, "I've been here for a week and all you've done is feed me delicious meals. I've gained 7 pounds." Splash. That wouldn't be too bad, right? She'd be angry at me for gaining weight, but she'd be happy. That is also one of the things that I wanted to do with my life. I wanted to find a love of my life and actually make the woman happy. It's kind of something I've wanted since the first fucking grade. Didn't have too good of a fucking time being the one kid in class that figured that out way ahead of everybody else. Because that's not exactly a fantastic thing, being a first grader and figuring out, hey, girls are nice, while everyone's still in their girls are icky phase. Not a great time. Ah! That, there were like 3 planes on that runway. They're dead now. Rip and piss. Yeah, you see, he's just... Man, that guy, that man was sent to the zone of alienation. He is fucking gone. That man is a flicker, a ghost, a shadow burned into the runway. Well, actually, that guy that I probably hit up in orbit was probably toss bombing. So I got him, but unfortunately the bomb was still in midair, and well, there went the airfield. What a shame. There is now a hole in Western Europe where an airfield used to be. Well, we kind of planned for this.
The enemy's getting close for victory.
It's funny that I'm playing War Thunder to relax and talk about fucking cooking. War Thunder of all things. But we're not playing realistic battles, so we can actually, you know, enjoy kind of just the simple joy of flying around without too much encumbrance of something like DCS. Because DCS, while interesting and novel and well-detailed, is a massive fucking pain in the ass to set up and play most of the time. There's a lot to manage, there's a lot to look at, there's a lot to see, a lot of concentration, and you can't really enjoy the moment because you're trying not to die horribly or fuck up and, you know, screw up and then die horribly. War Thunder, being an arcade game, you can kind of just, haha, funny flight plane. The problem is that War Thunder is also a very badly run game where you can't really enjoy the haha funny fly around plane very much because all of the game modes and game design are garbage. Is very sad like that, but at least we have modes like this once in a while that remind us that, wow, War Thunder could be so much better if it was. It's like, not even was better. It would be so much better if it was. But, you know, seeing as they're giving away the buff and the bear now as event vehicles and not showcasing that they're never going to put them on the tree, I think we're kind of done here in terms of War Thunder. As I've heard, the infantry stuff is the major push to give the game a little bit more, you know, wind in its sails to keep it going, but we're basically at the end of content and, like, determined development, which is an atrocity and a travesty in itself, because there's still so much more you could do with this fucking game, you absolute hack frauds. But, unfortunately, I can't fly over to... Oh. Is that close enough to kill me? No, it wasn't, actually. I'm blind, though! How did that not kill me? I just survived a nuclear explosion. Was I like ducking? Did I look over? Did I like sneeze and just look away from the explosion? Is that why I'm fine? What the fuck? That should have killed me instantly. What the fuck? I should have been dead before I saw the fucking flash. I guess the hangars absorbed that. Okay. But, you know, it's War Thunder. It's stupid. Moving on. But, yeah, so unfortunately, I cannot, you know, fly over to Gaijin HQ and wring every single fucking developer there by the neck. Before, you know, to get them to make a better fucking game out of this game, even though they spend all this time, like, fostering all this potential to make a better game and then never fucking do it. Or spend years making shit that no one really asked for or wants, and when it comes out, it still doesn't work properly and is awful. And then they randomly out of nowhere do something people have been asking for years, and actually somewhat improve the game a little bit, just kind of randomly out of nowhere, and then go right back to doing shit that doesn't matter, doesn't work, and no one cares.
The enemy is winning. We must counterattack.
They need strong direction, is what they need. And by direction, I mean being pointed towards facing the wall. Ah, yes. You want to use the latest NVIDIA technology to marginally to indistinguishably improve the quality, the visual quality of the game instead of doing something to actually improve the core gameplay? Ha ha! How compelling. Face the wall. How novel! Face the fucking wall, please. That's really what most of this game is now. It's really just a bunch of ideas made up by people who don't really give a shit about what the fuck they're making. They're just making shit. And sometimes you get magic out of that. Other times you just get directionless slop, which is mostly what War Thunder is. But you see I've come off cooking and now I'm back to good old Fonto complaining about War Thunder. Wow. I actually don't want to shoot that guy first. I want to shoot that guy. I think that first Sparrow actually retargeted. Wow! Holy shit, missiles functioning properly in that regard. Whoa! It reacquired. And yep, here bitching about War Thunder and I start getting 2 kills. Alright, I think I've sussed the problem. You see, he was listening to me talk about cooking and didn't know what to make with it, but then I started insulting it like a fucking sub and then it starts to work. Yes, treat War Thunder like a submissive and breedable bitch, and then it actually starts getting better. Wow! That's really the secret! You heard it here first, folks. Unfortunately, that guy is moving too fast for me to intercept, but wow, it's really interesting to see him outrun the shockwave. Even though me being in that shockwave should have, like, TKO'd my fucking plane nearly instantly. Here is an M. Here is another M. I didn't think the first one was going to keep tracking, but you know what? There you go. I fired 2 just to be sure. It's an A9M. It's kind of a bitch to get away from, but it's only in rear aspect does it really actually hook like that. Sometimes it will still dip for flares. Really fucking annoying like that, where it's like, wow, the AIM-9M is so incredibly strong and overpowered, and then you like the fucking like 6 out of 10 times it doesn't fucking work at all for me. That, however, was just a skill issue on my part. That was just a bad launch. I'm not complaining about what that's just a skill issue. Pay no mind, skill issue. There we go. Whoa! I should probably put the air brake off when I'm doing that. Oh, this is where I start looking like I'm made of lead. Well, I was gonna gun that guy down. Totally was gonna gun that down. Yep, I was totally gonna do that. Now I'm getting out of here because I don't have any missiles, but hey, I got a bunch of kills. I started insulting the game and I started playing better. Whoa! Perhaps I have to choose being a good War Thunder player or being able to actually cook for my girlfriend. Wow, that's such a hard choice. But then again, I suppose it's not really a choice, because if I keep playing War Thunder like this, I'm not gonna have a girlfriend. Ah! I lose nothing of value.
Attention to the designated grid zone. Air, 3 o'clock, low, trap flare. Our base is under attack. We must repel the attackers. Our base is destroyed, but we can still win the day.
Are you sure? We're losing those at quite an alarming rate, sir. I still only have 480 spawn. That fucking... I will one day figure out how to get nukes in this, but it's not really that much of an objective, because if we get the buff, we can fly the buff. We can fly the buff. We can fly it everywhere, directly in front of a missile. I don't know what BR it is. I think I need to actually check, because it actually is previewable in game, and we'll do that after this. We'll just go into test flight and fly the buff around just for the sake of it. I haven't actually checked what BR the buff is. And it's probably gonna be, you know, terrible, because what are you gonna do? Yes, it has an assload of chaff and flares, but it's a fucking B-52. It's gonna get obliterated the moment it gets into combat. If we had, like, working ECM, and then maybe, you know, the gameplay was better designed and we had teammates that weren't War Thunder teammates, maybe we could, you know, come up with a game mode that, you know, the B-52 actually reaches its fucking target half the goddamn time. But probably the plan is, for the absolute end of the War Thunder trees, they're probably just gonna give us the bone. And the whole thing is, like, get fast or get dead. That's really it. That's probably what they're gonna wind up doing. They're just gonna, instead of the B-52, they're just gonna give us the bone. Yes, danger is close, as I'm flying very, very, very low over the runway and running out of runway very quickly, but hang on here. Let me just... Yo! See, I just look cool in front of people. Fuck you, I got like 4 kills that sortie. I can fuck up and crash on the runway if I goddamn feel like it. I'm super pro. Yep, there goes another one. Oh, that hit a paladin battery. Well, they're all fucking dead.
To the map. Attention to the map. Attention to the designated grid square. We've destroyed the enemy's base. Now victory will surely be easy. Attention to the designated grid zone.
Someone's skirting around the side. They're probably going for the lower air base. They're in Notch right now, but we'll find them. There he is. Optimal launch angle. Let's see if it holds, because, yeah, nope, he's in, we're below the terrain. Wow, so optimal, really cool, and he's below the fucking terrain. Hello.
Something fast. The enemy will win.
Here is a mic winder. It's in the dirt. Here's another mic winder. I have 4 of them. He didn't even try. Not sure what he was doing there, but it wasn't actually surviving. That's not a hit. You dare bitch at me. Splasho! Granted, it's shooting A-Mines and fucking floggers, but hey, we haven't been getting kills. I've been flying around talking about cooking. I need a handicap to get back into the game. But granted, I said, yeah, after this one, we're gonna wrap this up at 2 hours. It's now been a half an hour since we've been playing this match. So at least the matches last goddamn forever. That's another thing about War Thunder that is something we don't typically get in most games of War Thunder. Actually playing a game for more than like 10 minutes. The game has amazing potential in its accessibility for enjoying a flying game for that long, but they don't let us do that at all. At least not under our realistic battle controls, which is like the whole selling point. You could do that in Sim, but then you have to be under Sim controls, which is way more clunky and not as easily enjoyable. This is great. Oh. But this is great for what it is. You can enjoy the better parts of War Thunder in it being the accessible controls. You can fly around and shoot missiles at people. It's really about the only part of top-tier gameplay that I actually enjoy anymore. Though I don't really play top-tier gameplay or War Thunder at all before this point. I had taken my break because there's literally nothing of interest to do until they add something actually really good. Or something rather interesting, but let's face it, guys, I'm just sitting out until they're adding stealth, and we know that's coming. There are some planes in there, however, there's a whole fucking lot of them, and I don't want to charge into like 4 people with 2 missiles. Hello. he gonna get shit canned by AA is the next question here, and he is. Good thing I didn't waste a fucking missile, and here we go. See, that's what that's what I specifically avoided running into, because I didn't fucking want to. Okay, this is gonna get a little ugly here, but yeah, this guy. That's still... No, it's not tracking. It is not tracking at all, but okay, that should be in range to hit him. He's not flaring, and he's dead. Okay, there's a lot of shit going on, and I don't know where the other guy is. There's a couple guys over here. There's this asshole, too. Okay, we're getting a gun kill here, it looks like. If we can actually get back behind that fulcrum, which we can, if he doesn't get slammed by something while I'm trying to get him. Alright. Alright, let's put the fucking pedal down here and see if we can get into range, and... No, he dodged that. Alright, he's still running. He's a little faster than us, though, so he might be able to escape us, but he might be forced to turn around for some reason. Okay, there he goes. He's in a turn. Okay, if he doesn't slam into the fucking ground, we can probably get in range for a gun kill. Okay, you're right. Okay, okay. Oh, not on, not on. Come on, come on, come on. Bring it around. Hit. There it is. He'll crash fucking eventually. Yeah, that's my kill, asshole, but thanks for getting that. Alright, that's us, that's the ball game, we're getting the fuck out of here. Kinda hard to see over the bow shock, but we still got the bitch. 9 kills. Not terrific, but hey, I've been flying around talking about food the entire match. Got 9 minutes of fuel left, so it's gonna be kind of a slow ride back to base. We gotta kind of conserve fuel because, like, do we land over there? I mean, we could, but actually, no. There's enough people in there. We'll see an attacker coming, so you know we'll motor for the closer base. We can go all the fucking way back over there, but I don't think I have enough fuel for that. Clown on a friend of mine in a Battletech mech duel using modified Highlander versus a Supernova. Well, the Highlander's an assault mech. That's kind of unfair. Isn't the Supernova just still a heavy mech? So it's a Supernova. Right, my mistake. Part of me thinks that the Supernova is a heavy mech. Supernova's 90 tons, right, yeah, okay. Bring her in.
If we don't do something fast, the enemy will win.
Oh no. Oh no. Oh no! That's exactly what I expected to happen. I'll go for the closer airbase. It seems fine. I'm sure nobody will sneak Oh, no! That's exactly what I expected to happen. DFA hit to the cockpit as a Highlander. As is Highlander. Always is Highlander and will remain Highlander. They are using that beach to actually cut in and attack that base, so I probably should have expected that. So we did catch 2 people coming up this shore in order to probably hit this base, so probably should have expected that they have respawned to try it again, but I thought we were fine. We were not fine. We were not fine at all. How much fucking time? We still have 40 minutes on this match. We've been playing here for 45 minutes. Actually, more than 45 minutes, actually. My god. Whoa, playing a long span of War Thunder without wanting to kill myself. Holy shit! Maybe they're onto something with this nuclear option for retards. Though I know we're never going to see this fucking game mode ever again. Money have I made? I can't see how much money I made, but you can, before you respawn, you can see how much money you're up. Probably should have looked when I respawned, but I didn't check. I didn't think to check. I went through all the effort of making coffee before I started the stream, and I've barely had any.
Need cover.
I was too enthralled by talking about cooking stuff. Yeah, wow, that base is really goddamn far away, which means we've probably lost the fucking game by the time we lose this airbase. Six ER large lasers is a comical loadout. Well, that's just supernova things. It really is just supernova things. It's entirely what the mech does. It generates an assload of heat, and it has lots of lasers. It still has a better heat curve than the Nova. This is true because the supernova is the Nova, but bigger. But that do be the meme. That's like having an Uziel with fucking PPCs. That is the meme.
Attention to the map.
Double heat sinks and it's still under sync. Well, of course, because the amount of heat that shit generates is off the goddamn chain. Actually, wait, you mean heat stable, right? Or heat neutral is I believe the proper term. And here we go again, out of touch and out of fucking time here. All the enemies are dead because all my teammates are swamping them. But by the time I get into position, All the enemies are dead. Yeah, here we go again. Generates 72 heat on an alpha. It can sink 52. Yeah, that's... Yeah. Okay, so it's not heat neutral. It's just supernova things. The wonders of laser boats. Too much heat, explode. You're going over there. You're already shooting at that guy. I'm not getting that SU-25. This Meg is going to get hit in the... Actually, no, he didn't get hit in the face. Hang on here. We actually might get this kill. Fox 1. If it holds, it's not holding. Sparrow, please track the flogger. We haven't got enough fucking time for this, Sparrow. Come on, keep tracking. No hit. Damn! I thought I had more time. Oof. Actually, yeah, up 46. What the fuck am I listening to, War Thunder? Unfortunately, the patch broke the Ace Combat mod, but what is this fucking dubstep I'm hearing? Like... This part is kind of okay. It sounds a bit like Darktide, but that's not what I was going what the fuck at. Let's see if it circles back around again. Guess I've been shot down, and now I'm meditating on the really awful dubstep music that they put in here for, like, background falling, because, fuck the original soundtrack, apparently, for War Thunder. It gets worse than that. That's just kind of mediocre. But, so, hang on, that's not what I was hearing a second ago. Hold the fuck on here.
Attention to the designated grid zone.
This in itself is getting kind of annoying for what it is, but what the fuck? Yes, you've done the foghorns a billion times here, song. Is this your whole vibe, man? Is this it? Just the whole set, man? Also, just to say, it's taking us fucking forever to lose this match, isn't it? Okay, I don't think it's gonna get as annoying as it was before when I started this, which is kind of rather unfortunate because I just wasted like 2 minutes listening to this shit for no real reason. Oh, there it is. What is this shit? This sounds like shit that, you know, whacked out Russian coders listen to while they're coding complete slop and smoking cigarettes in their basement. That's what this sounds like. This is what Vatniks think dramatic sounds like.
Our base is under attack. We must repel the attackers.
Well, you know,
But we can still win the day.
I hated everybody there anyway. Oh well. No way back now, I suppose, but well, I didn't like anybody on that base anyway. No cute girls. Unfortunately, they didn't kill the dubstep band in the background. They'd survived the nuke somehow. Maybe they can aim better and get them next time. Oh, that's the whole enemy team. Oh, that's not good. Okay, we're just gonna keep run away screaming now. That's probably the only way I'm gonna survive this. Get off the rail! Unfortunately, all of those missed. Now, granted, that is actually a War Thunder track, so I'm not getting mad at this one, but still, Jesus Christ. What have you done to this soundtrack? I like how my entire team is not here for this kill ball, and so I've got to deal with it. Why do I keep running into these problems? Oh, that's because I'm bad at video games, clearly. That's not really a mystery. That kind of solves itself there. It really isn't a mystery to really anyone. And that's still somehow missed. Oh! I thought I got away from that, but a proxy fuse. Oh. And yeah, Jesus Christ, it's taking us fucking forever to lose. My god. Now I've been playing War Thunder mostly peacefully for like 2 hours, actually 3 hours now. And now I just want to stop because I'm bored. We're gonna finish the match, obviously, to finish the match here, but Jesus fucking Christ, can we hurry up and goddamn lose here? I got shit I gotta do today, like sleep. Yeah, there's him, but there's more people out there. Actually, there it appears not. They're all dead or over there. Come on. God damn it.
We need to put more pressure on the enemy. They're winning.
Track that son of a bitch. Track him. Good. The MiG-29 is considerably more fucking threatening. Got him. The Fencer just... He has fucking R-60Ms. He's not really a threat. And he gets slammed by a missile. Okay. That's fine. I actually got a fucking kill today. That's not gonna be close enough. Nope. Didn't get off the rail in time. And he's in the dirt immediately. Probably looking back, wondering, where are all the dudes as he dies to one. I think I'm gonna be able to outrun that. There's that guy way the fuck up there that I randomly picked up out of nowhere. That might be a missile. One sparrow, okay. One sparrow. He's cruising into hit range. He's in a notch, though. That's kind of shit. Oh, okay. That's almost a no-escape zone, so that should be good enough if you actually keep track of the goddamn target. Yep, okay, keep track. Come on, keep that fucking track, Sparrow. And looks like it's good! The Mike Winder went for the flares, but, well, that's what happens when you get front aspect locks. It's not exactly a full move here, but hang on here. I think I got enough room for a gun kill here. Hey, splash! Whoa, a little close there. A little close. Okay, 2 mics left. Let's see what we can do with this one. Now I'm just kind of fucking around getting kills because it's fun to play the F-15A in this. There's another 23 out of there, but we should be gone by the time he becomes an issue. Okay, 2 targets, 2 mics here. Let's see if we can get them both. Therefore, he's probably going to get one of them. No, he isn't. That's an SU-25, but we can outrun him. Yeah, he's not going to be close. Okay. Get real fucking close here. There you go, catch. Oh, bad catch. Your shit catch. You suck. You suck. I'm not turning around because there's more people coming. You better catch. Oh, you. I could say worse fucking things, but you slammed into the ground to deny me a fucking kill. What are you fucking goddamn fucking piece of shit? I swear to fucking God. Oh well. I expended all of my missiles. Most of them look like they were going to do something up until I don't. I got a gun kill. I'm alright. I got 13 kills this match. This is fine. I could get more, but, well, you know what? This is fine. Have we finally run out of fucking tickets? Whoa! Actually, no, there's one, no, the 100 left. Like, when do you crash a Humvee into a wall and, like, write it off as a combat loss, please? That fucking... Okay, there you go. Like, those kills are actually not worth a whole lot of tickets. The AI's shooting at each other. And they actually did manage to kill an enemy there, but the AI's shooting at each other, and it's not really all worth that many tickets. I'm not gonna get to the front line in time, though, sadly. Ah, fucking finally. There we go. Okay, finally. Jesus Christ, that was like, oh, like that is a healthy game of War Thunder when it's actually, you know, I can actually play it until I find it boring, which is kind of an amazing thing we don't normally see. But of course, what we're going to do is we're just gonna, well, we have to go through here, but we're gonna actually preview the buff. What BR? 8? 8? What fucking BR is it? 8-7? 8-7? I think that's lower than the fucking thing they just put in. Yeah, it's lower than the B66. 8-7? It's with fucking sabers? What? Granted, I know the B-52 is an old plane, but what? It's in the fucking Korean War, basically. 8-7, what? Yeah, well, MiG-17 is post Korean War, obviously, but all right, fine. That's a little bit more understandable. But 8-7, what's the bear at? Like, hold on here. What the fuck does the bear get for its goddamn matchmaking? 8-3. Of course, it's lower. It doesn't carry as many bombs though, but it gets a fucking gigantic dumpster, like 18,000 pound bomb. 8-7. What the what the fuck is this fucking Western Europe fucking airfield fucking put the buff on the goddamn runway and let me fucking fly the buff around. I'm still gonna have to buy this stupid thing at the end of the day here, but, well, money's not exactly fantastic, so I may not actually do it, but it's the buff, and this is the only way we're gonna get it. Also, I'd like to point out that the gunner on the Bear has the normal 3D view. However, the gunner on the B-52 is stuck with the first-person view, even though the first-person view is not fucking modeled. And also, it's a radar-directed gun, and it has, as you can see, no radar! It is a backwards-facing Vulcan, which is funny, but Where the fuck is the radar gun sight? Hello? We've got this, we've got a FLIR mounted, a FLIR, camera mounted on the nose just in case we want to use that for dumb bombs, which is the only thing it gets. Is from a Texas airbase, though. But yes, it's a buff. Again, I always wanted these moments in War Thunder, but, I also wanted the game to be a lot fucking better than this, but it is a buff. Actually, I wanted to see the Peacemaker more than the buff, honestly. The Peacemaker would be funny and actually would function in War Thunder to an extent, or at least function as well as bombers would in War Thunder, because it has 20mm cannons covering the entire plane. Unfortunately, it would still be matched up with planes that fire missiles and instantly die. So, Buff, I'd like to take off now. Buff, I'd like to go into the air now. The runway is barely long enough to get it off the runway. It is barely long enough to take off. Oh god, I'm already stalling. Well, I can't really do anything about that. I'm a buff. I'd like to put the nose down and gain some speed today. I know I'm basically flying a goddamn commuter aircraft at this point. Buff old, he has issues getting up. Yep. But, Buff. I will now carpet bomb this unassuming island, because it has angered me. Woe to you, Iran. Bombs in your general direction. Bombs. 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 Bombs! Fuck that village in particular! There's nothing you could really use that for in War Thunder, it just kinda looks cool. You can't fly this in tanks, the AA will eat you the fuck alive! Oh boy. Oh, yeah, that's, okay, that does not like flaps even at, like, country mile speed. Yeah, ooh, that is recreating the B-52 air show crash there. Goodness gracious. As expected of the buff, it don't do much but fly in a straight line and carry a bunch of bombs, but it's so fucking good at doing that we haven't replaced it for like 70 years? Holy shit, the lift though, my goodness. I can feel it even when I'm pointing the nose down, but... Eat shit and die! This would be absolutely useless to fly even in Sim. Wait, Bro, what? Are you... Please turn your head again so I can see what Air Force emblem you have on your head, because I think that's like fucking pre-war. You've got the oxygen mask, so I think you've got the Korean suit on you. What the fuck is that emblem on your head, bro? How old is that fucking helmet? Holy shit. Granted, that's like the 8th Air Force. I can't remember the exact emblem there, but sir, that is old. So we have a modern buff that isn't, clearly. Because modern buffs do not have their tail guns, we took them off because they weren't really all that useful. Woe to thee, random grid square, as I have decreed death upon you and all your kin. Go with Gaj. because I shall not have mercy upon your souls. Arclight be upon you, heathens. Okay, so how do we land this son of a bitch without actually crashing instantly into the ground? Do we have a... Okay, we do have an air brake. It's the... Okay, it's the spoiler ROMs. It's not slowing down. Oh my god, it's got so much mass, it doesn't slow down. Okay, we're gonna have to circle around here because it's so heavy, it can't slow itself down in a dive. Maybe the bombs will help. Okay, so obviously with the basic laws of physics, an object in motion tends to stay in motion. This being amplified by the weight of the object. Big fat flying fuck. Yeah, it kind of earns that, but like when you point the nose down and want to go down, you're not making smooth like War Thunder landings in this. Because when you put it, like, it's starting to slow down now, but as soon as I put the nose down and try to descend, it's going to start picking up speed again. Or again, okay, so it's... Oh, that's not good. Okay, yep, there it goes! Okay, so we're going to have to just kind of hope and pray? Because now we're accelerating again because it's gaining so much fucking energy because it's fucking huge! Yeah, no, that... Yep, no, that is... that is an issue. Oh no. Kids, that's a problem. The air brake is worthless! The air brake is absolutely fucking worthless. Noted. And there goes the rest of the gear. Okay, so you're not War Thunder landing this. I mean, you probably could try and land it on the runway, God bless. Like, you could belly land it, and we're going to, but, make sure you've got a good fucking, but what am I saying? Landing a level bomber at high tier and going out for a second sortie in a standard realistic battle game? Are you mad? These things don't happen. Perhaps they happen in the fucking kingdom of Prestrodon or some shit like that. But they don't happen here. Okay, so we're gonna try and War Thunder land this and hope to God it likes to, you know, it wants to slow down today. Because it seems to, like, get up to, like, 300 knots, and then it says, no, I want to go fast again. It's like flying a pendulum, which, well, hey, I've used those words before to describe ground attack aircraft. But it's just, it's picking up speed again. She just fucking hates slowing down because she's so goddamn heavy. Oh, this is gonna be fucking awful, but okay. Oh, I'm gonna run out of runway real goddamn quick. Oh my god, it's not shutting down. It's not slowing down! It's not slowing. Oh my god! Oh god. Oh. 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 Oh no. That was far worse than I expected. Oh. Not only was that perfectly comedically timed, oh goodness. That, We're not putting that back in the air. It's gone, man. That's a write-off. You can't even put that in a museum. It's dead, bro. It's scrap metal. Wow, okay, so landing this is a bitch and a half. Good luck. Like, the Bear is probably a little bit more doctile because it's not as fucking huge. It's actually not that, you know, it's a large aircraft, obviously, but it's smaller than the Buff. So it's probably a little bit easier to land. But, whoa, landing this is gonna be a tremendous fucking nightmare. But what are we saying? You're not coming back to base? In a fucking, like, even at 8-7, this is a Korean War, you're still gonna be shot at by Sidewinders. Granted, you have flares, which is fucking funny as hell. You have, like, you have how many flares? You have lots of chaff in the situation where you're not gonna be fighting, you know, radar-guided missiles aside from, like, a demon. Like, I don't think you're gonna need much chaff to dissuade a demon. But, so, okay, you can't see it there, but, okay, so modifications? I can't actually see the modifications, so I don't know how many flares it has. Mach number, it's like, it's not that many flares. But hey, it has a radar, but you can't use it. What the fuck gives here? And those are fuel tanks? I thought those were the ECM pods, but okay. But so, landing that is gonna be a tremendous goddamn bitch. It also tells you it's somewhere how many fucking chaff and flares that has, but yeah, that against Korean War era jets with AIM-9Bs. That's still gonna be kind of a tough sell with... Granted, you will be able to avoid the AIM-9Bs, but you're a B-52, and if they just kind of shoot at your general direction with their guns, you are so fucking dead it's hysterical. Because they will be able to hit you from fuck you away because you are absolutely massive. And landing that thing is going to be an absolute fucking nightmare. Good luck, because Jesus Christ, the amount of lift it has, which is again probably why it can carry so many fucking bombs, but that fights against it while it's landing because it wants to pick up goddamn speed when you put the nose down. So you have to come in really low from really fucking far away in order to put the fucking thing down. Jesus Christ, that's gonna be such a bitch to manage. We already know what's gonna happen, though. You're gonna die instantly every time you try and use this thing, and it's gonna be dumb luck that you survive. It's 8-7, so that means you're gonna fight 9-7 aircraft, which means that you're gonna be fighting MiG-21s, which is somewhat a little bit more correct for it. I mean, that's like Vietnam-era, like, deployments. Like, absolute best there, but the, you know, Vietnamese MiG-21s didn't have missiles for the most part. Like, they had them on occasion, but not really. Actually, that's 9-3. That's even lower. My bad. They had absolutely fuck the BR ratings for things like the MiG-21, so good luck. Yeah. It's gonna be a fucking comedy act, but then again, maybe you could be helped out by the amazing F-117 Nighthawk, which is also 8-7. The Buff and the Nighthawk at 8-7. I swear to God, if you had gone back in time to when the F-100 and the MiG-19 were top dogs and told people that they would add the B-52H and the F-117 Nighthawk at 8-7, they would not have believed you. It would have been too stupid to believe, but here it is. It's real. Also, the F-106 at 9-3, which you can kill a buff with that. That might actually be a fun pastime when the buffs are actually released, just going after and, like, killing them with, like, delta darts and shit like that. We're gonna own it just to own it, really, at the end of the day, and that's really it. But okay, ladies and gentlemen, it has been 3.5 hours, and that's really what I wanted to do this morning. I'm gonna go try and get some sleep. I will see you all next time. I have been your host, Horace Widdowson, and I hope you have enjoyed the early stream, which, well, we did some productive things, but I mostly flew around talking about random shit, but that is half my job, so I hope you found it entertaining or enriching. I'll see you all next time, though, ladies and gentlemen. Enjoy the rest of your day.